Follow Altavista Colonels basketball all season long on 105.5 KD Country and kdcountry.com. Want to get half-off deals from area businesses? Visit kdcountrydollarsaver.com. Local weather, news, and real country. We're 105.5 KD Country.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Playoff atmosphere, to say the least, here from English Stadium. The teams are into it. The fans are into it. We hope you're into it, and we couldn't be able to bring it to you without the support of our fantastic 2013 playoff sponsors. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving family since 1905. Chef's Drive-In, keeping hometown pride and service alive. Rehab Associates, your choice for expert physical therapy, with 9 different locations as they send off the fireworks as the Colonels bust through the Spirit line there. One Stop Mart, your one stop for gas, food, and beverages. High View Motors, from small to tall. High View has it all. David W. Shreve, when life happens, turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced and licensed attorney. Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store in Altavista. Apple Market, serving you from 3 fantastic locations. Gateway, Main Street, and Riverside. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deal on wheels. Select Air. Give Donnie a call today at 841-1580. First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Fellers Chevrolet, where a short drive will save you money. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, the happiest place in town. And English is your complete home center and headquarters for Davis Paint. Of course, if you're listening at kdcountry.com, you can thank Walmart for the streaming online audio. Save money, live better. Walmart in this game and all the games are on YouTube thanks to Fellers Chevrolet. Oscar, Colonels win the toss. No surprise there. They're going to defer and get the ball in the second half.
Yeah, and, you know, they are kicking. Colonels will be going right to left here. Going to be, you know, both these teams a little bit of a standoff as to who's going to come onto the field first. And Coach Sharna said enough is enough, and you know, the Colonels ran out. Of course, that pleased the Franklin players. This was an old stare down, a Western stare down. Who was going to draw first? So, boy, oh boy, this is exciting stuff.
It really is. The fireworks went off when the Colonels took the field. The fog machine was going. Fog machine just kind of lifting up into the air. It's not exactly going right to left like it normally does. Franklin will be going left to right when they get the kickoff from the Altavista Colonels. Colonels in the home black jerseys with the orange and white trim. Orange numbers with the white trim around it, I should say. Colonel's wearing the orange pants tonight. Looks like everybody's got the black socks to go along with the black helmet. Franklin in the road, white jerseys, yellow numbers, yellow pants, blue helmet with the yellow face mask, or gold. Some of those numbers might be a little tough to see. We've seen a couple teams use that white and yellow combination, and it can get a little difficult, but we'll do the very best that we can tonight and every week.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the things, talking to the officiating crew, last year during this game, unsportsmanlike penalties were thrown often.
Yeah.
And both the officiating crews said that they're going to have to start this game. It's going to be a short leash for these players. They're not going to tolerate a lot of extracurricular, so watch for that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you think about Altavista really has battled those penalty demons all year to a degree. I mean, now some games it obviously hasn't burned them, and I don't think you can say that it really burned them in their one loss against Gretna. That was more so just a great game by both teams, and Gretna comes out one play better, but the penalties are something that certainly has concerned Coach Mike Sharnas and his staff all year. Walker Allen's got the ball teed up, and he's ready to go. Looks like Marcus Stevens back deep along with Corey Porter for the Franklin Broncos.
And both those players are dangerous.
They are dangerous. I was just going to say Altavista hasn't been shy about kicking it deep all year, but maybe this might be the time. We'll see what Walker Allen can do, and I'm sure Walker would love to just pump one in the end zone to start the football game. Here comes the run-up. And he's ready to go. State quarterfinal action. It's a short kick, almost a pooch kick. It's going to land close. Altavista's got a chance to get the football back, and maybe they have, Oscar. Let's see the signal, and they got it. Recovered by the Altavista Colonels. Walker kicked it short. It was not an onside kick. It was about a 25 or 30-yard kick. And we don't even know who recovered it over there on that far sideline for the Altavista Colonels, but it is Colonel football.
Looks like it's going to be about the 27-yard line. And, again, you're exactly right. We could not tell who recovered it, but Colonels are in business here. 1st and 10 from the Franklin 27. They are Juan's getting ready to get these guys lined up. They're ready to go.
Wow. Well, you talk about a turn of events early. Franklin gets the football to start, but they do not get the football as Altavista kicks it short. They were just trying to keep it away from the two return guys. It was not an onside kick, but the Colonels end up recovering. Davy Jones in motion. Shotgun formation, obviously, for the Altavista Colonels. They'll hand it to Destin Brown. Brown wrapped up around the line of scrimmage. Fights ahead. Nice gain right there. We'll call it a pickup of about 5. Colonels were starting on their own on the Franklin 28-yard line, and Destin was able to move it along pretty well there.
Yeah, nice job. Good to see Destin get the ball early.
Yeah, I would think the Colonels are going to try and establish that run. They remember what happened last year, how they had a hard time running the football. Mike Sharness wants to try and pound the Franklin D-line just a little bit to start. 2 wide receivers to each side, and they're stacked up pretty far away from the offensive line. Thornhill goes with a hard snap count, and the flag comes out. This should be against Franklin. And if it is, it's going to give Altavista some free yards, although the referee did sort of make a signal at Altavista. Let's see what happens. They are going to call it a legal procedure on the Colonels there, so it'll back Altavista up 5 yards. 2nd and 10 now. Back to that original line of scrimmage right there at the Franklin 28, middle of the field. 11:22 to go. We're just underway with no score here from Altavista.
Yeah, legal procedure. Something funny happened out on that wide slot where Johnson and Michi Malbeck were lined up.
Michi walking back in towards Juan Thornhill to get a little more instruction on the play. 2 wide receivers each side again. Thornhill looking over the defense. Now he's ready to go from the low crouch. Chest high snap. Got to avoid one blitzer, and he does. Now he's going to pass. He's got Michi Malbeck. Caught it on the 10-yard line. Touchdown. Nobody was near him, Oscar. A blown assignment there in the secondary. Michi Malbeck and the Altavista Colonels just sort of waltzing into the end zone.
Boy, I didn't expect a 2-play drive right from the start.
Wow.
Here for the Colonels, but what a great way to start the ball game. To smack Franklin right in the mouth. Onside, what resulted in an onside kick situation. Colonels recovered the ball, and then 2 plays later, punch into the end zone on a nice play. Nice adjustment from Malbeck, reacting to Thornhill, and great job of Juan getting him the ball.
Yeah, Juan really avoiding that first blitzer coming through there was pretty incredible. That one guy came through unblocked. Juan just sort of sidestepped him, managed to stay on his feet. Extra point by Walker Allen is good. Michi Malbeck gets him in the end zone. Walker gets the extra point. Colonels lead 7-0. 10:57 to play here in the Apple Market first quarter. Timeout on 105.5 KD Country.
From small to tall, Highview Motors GMC has it all. Highview Motors GMC, an authorized GMC team with fantastic pricing. Highview Motors collision repair and body, bringing back the shine with top-notch frame and unibody repair. PPG paint, 24-hour towing, working hard to earn your business. Highview Motors GMC, Main Street, Altavista.
Small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors GMC.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Could not ask for a better start for the Altavista Colonels. They lead 7-0. Passing touchdown from Juan Thornhill to Michi Malbeck. 28-yarder. And you mentioned it, Oscar, just a 2-play drive. You had the 5-yard penalty in there, but once again, it did not slow the Colonels down one bit. Excellent way to start for Altavista.
Yeah, it is, and it'll be interesting to see how the Colonels respond on this kickoff and see if Walker kicks it deep this time, or they try a similar high end over end, try to kick it short.
Well, the ball landed on about the 35-yard line and bounced along. Altavista recovered on the 28.
And Porter, they're up. They're at the 15-yard line.
We'll see. Here comes Walker on the run up. He's going to kick this one deep. It'll land on about the 15-yard line. Ball caught by, I think it's Porter. Porter's going to start to the middle. Now break it outside. Destin Brown is there. Donovan Montague is there as well. And eventually the entire team cleans him up. Franklin's going to start around the 22-yard line. Good coverage by the Altavista Colonels there on the kickoff.
Yeah, nice job, nice coverage. Porter got the ball. He didn't have much room to go anywhere. Good start here. The ball is going to be on the 23.
And remember, Franklin
here remaining in the first quarter. Colonels lead 7-0.
Very good point, Oscar. Franklin, and again, we should point out, a predominantly running ball club. They're going to go with 2 tight ends right now. Actually, it looks like it is 2 tight ends, an up back, and then the fullback and the tailback. And again, those offensive linemen split way out. A lot of room in those gaps in between each guy. Tailback, I believe, is Stevens. They won't give it to him. They'll give it to the first man through. That's the fullback. Solid gain there of about 3 or 4 yards. And, boy, when they hand it to that fullback, Oscar, it really hits quick. They don't even really have to block anybody. They just roll through there almost into one of those gaps on either side of the center. It's actually a 5-yard pickup.
Yeah, it is. That's a good point, Kyle. We're not used to seeing a fullback situation, and a lot of times you hand it off that fullback, you're expecting to go to the tailback.
Yeah, they do give it to the tailback. That's Stevens. Nothing there. He's hit by a host of Colonel defenders. Ashton Robinson, first guy, I think, in on the stop, and then the whole team got in, and it really was 11 black jerseys in on that tackle after it was all said and done. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Nice job by Colonel's defense identifying what was going to happen on that play and stopping Stevens dead in his tracks.
Yep. Chatham ran the fullback a little bit, not much, and I don't think we've seen any team run it. Run the fullback, that is, the way Franklin likes to run the fullback. Actually, about 3rd and 4, they gave Stevens about a yard there. Pittman under center. Stevens is the tailback again. They'll hand it to him on a stretch play. Looking for holes. Can't find any holes. Juan Thornhill filling the hole. What a stop right there by Thornhill coming from the safety spot. They may give Stevens about a yard, but not much else, and I think Franklin's going to have to punt. What a 3-and-out right there by the Altavista defense.
That play was slow in developing, and one thing that we've seen from the Colonels this year, if you try to go wide and if that play is slow developing, it's not going to work.
Yeah, because Thornhill is just going to beat you to the spot. He really got to the line of scrimmage the same time that Stevens did. Great solo tackle by the junior, number 11, Juan Thornhill. The University of Virginia commitment. They've got a big game tomorrow against Virginia Tech. Obviously, you knew that if you were a fan of either team. Michi ball back. Deep to return the punt here for Altavista. He's on about the 34-yard line. Kick is away, and it's a pretty good one. Michi should have room to return it. He's going to let it bounce. Now he wants to pick it up on the bounce, and he can't field it cleanly. Football is loose. This ball is still loose, and I think Franklin has fallen on it. It looks like it's going to be Bronco football. Michi wanted to field it in the air. When he couldn't get to it, he tried to field it on one hop, and the hop was not a very good one. Franklin will take over on their own, on the Altavista 26-yard line, so fantastic field position. First turnover there for either team. Well, I guess unless you count the first opening kickoff that Altavista got back. Same situation here, Oscar. It's not really a turnover. It's on a kick, but either way, Franklin gets the ball back.
Michi's one chance was to catch it in the air, and then once it hit the ground, he was really indecisive. At first, he started to back away. Then he decided he was going to go after it. Michi's a playmaker. In his mind, he can take it to the house on any play. Probably not the best decision right there.
Yeah, it was almost like he couldn't get away from it because of the way it was bouncing. Franklin goes under center. Here comes the handoff. First man through is the fullback. He's hit hard around the thigh pads by Darius Johnson. Give Johnson credit for a nice tackle there. And, boy, there is just so much room in between those linemen. Franklin going to get up and go quick here. Don't even get a chance to describe this play. Two tight ends, the blocking back, and then the I formation fullback and the I formation tailback. They give it to the fullback again. First guy through, not much there. Short of the first down marker, although it is a solid pickup. Should bring up about 3rd and 2, Oscar. 8:27 to play here in the first quarter. Colonels lead 7-0.
Yeah, they're going to mark that at about the 18-yard line. Like you said, Kyle will bring up about third and about 3. And the Colonels traditionally play that 3-5. Thornhill usually at 10, 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Not tonight. They are packed up all within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yep, formation a little bit different. They're stacked up in the triple I now. They give it to the second fullback. There's nothing there. Destin Brown filled the hole. Juan Thornhill filled the hole. Dropped him right on the 20-yard line, which is actually about a loss of a foot or two. This is going to bring up 4th and a full 4 yards here, Oscar. Franklin going to go for it.
Well, they do, and they Padilla, their kicker, is first-team all-conference for them, and I was watching warm-up. He can go 45 yards easily, but trailing 7-0, they're going for it.
Not a bad idea. There's no reason in punting right here. Would just go into the end zone. Here comes the handoff to Stevens. Stevens lost his footing. Nothing there. Darius Johnson on the stop. Big-time play right there. Altavista Colonels defense, back-to-back 3-and-outs, and they weather the muff punt right there, and they're going to get the football back, Oscar.
And nobody's happier about that than Michi Malbeck.
Demetrius Johnson on the big play. What a play right there. It was actually Demetrius Johnson. I think Demetrius made that first tackle there on first down as well. Easy to get the Johnson brothers confused. They're both impact players, so my apologies to those guys, but a big-time stop right there by him and the entire Colonel defense.
Nice job. Colonels on defense recovering from that fumble. So here we go. Colonels in business.
7:33 to play here in the first quarter. Pistol formation. Juan hands it to Clydell Moon. Moon has got all kinds of daylight up the middle. He's across the 50, across the 40. Can anybody catch him? One player has an angle. He's across the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown. He got it in the end zone. Franklin player nearly ran him down at the goal line, but just could not get there in time, Oscar. Touchdown. Clydell Moon and the Altavista Colonels, and it is a long one. He went right up the gut, Oscar.
79 yards, second possession for the Colonels. First one, 2 plays and a touchdown. Next one, 1 play and a touchdown. Nobody saw this coming. Maybe Clydell Moon did, because during the pregame, Clydell was very vocal. He was holding his own with the Franklin players, Kyle.
Clydell Moon takes his seat on the bench, and obviously he's a little winded after that long 79-yard touchdown jaunt. Moon really untouched until about the 2-yard line, when the one guy from Franklin had an angle on him, tried to lay out and make a valiant effort, but Moon could not be stopped as he dove to the end zone. Extra point back. Snap was a little low, but Thornhill got it to the block, and the kick squeaks in above the upright there. Walker Allen's 2 for 2. The Colonels have scored twice. They lead 14-0. Timeout with 7:21 to play here in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Head into winter with a set of premium Michelin tires. Drop by your Michelin dealer between November 1st and December 2nd and get a $70 MasterCard reward card after submission when you buy any set of 4 new Michelin brand passenger or light truck tires.
See your Michelin dealer today. Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service on Main Street, Altavista.
Reward card eligibility is limited to tire purchases from participating dealers only. See redemption form for complete offer details. Offer expires 12/2/2013. Void where prohibited. Reward card issued by U.S. Bank pursuant to a license for MasterCard International Incorporated.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Clydell Moon takes a long one to the house, and the Altavista Colonels defense back-to-back 3-and-outs. Oscar, they avoid the catastrophe after the muff punt there, and they turn it into really a big-time play right there.
Well, and let's give credit to Navy Jones, who got out on the edge, kind of trailed Clydell down on the play, and as the players started to get an angle on Clydell, one of the blocks that kept him from getting stopped at the 5-yard line was done by Navy. So nice job by Navy, not giving up and continuing to hustle.
Well, Colonel receivers all year have been very good about blocking, not only for the running backs, but blocking for each other as well. All those guys want to see their buddies get in the end zone. Clydell Moon does it right there.
1 play, 12 seconds, 79 yards. Here we go.
Yeah, it's vintage Colonels, at least 2013 variety Colonels anyway. So far, I got a feeling Franklin not out of this thing just yet. Walker Allen's kickoff going to get landed on about the 11-yard line and returned by Stevens. Stevens bouncing it to the left side. Now he's going up left sideline. He's got some room. Not going to be able to shake off about 4 or 5 Colonel defenders there. Demetrius Johnson in on the stop. There was, again, at least 3 or 4 other Colonels there as well. Looks like Traquan Farmer over there also in on the stop, number 34 for the Altavista Colonels. But a good return nonetheless for Franklin. They'll have decent starting field position.
They're at the 40-yard line, best field position obviously of the night for them, and they're actually going to mark it at the 42. So nice field position, and again, they've had 2 3-and-outs, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get some offense going here.
Yeah, let's see what the Colonels defense has in store this time around. Juan Thornhill's made some really big stops on the defensive side. Demetrius Johnson, Darius Johnson as well. Destin Brown had a couple big tackles too, or he was in on a couple big tackles anyway. I formation again with the power back, the blocking back, whatever you want to call it. He's right beside the fullback. And Franklin will go, and they'll give it to that power back. Going right side, he's got some room, but he is hit hard. What a stick right there by Donovan Montague, number 3. The solo tackle got him up around the shoulder pads, Oscar, and just dropped him.
Yeah, he absolutely. He got back to maybe a little bit past the original line of scrimmage, but Donovan Montague sniffed that out and shed the block, and boy, he picked him up and power drived him.
Wow, what a play. And that's where the weight room stuff pays off right there, as he hit Corey Porter, hit him up around the shoulder pads, and then just picked him up and dropped him, drove him into the turf. Great tackle right there by Donovan Montague. They give him about a foot of a gain. And it's now down to 6.5 minutes to go in the Apple Market first quarter. This time, wideouts, no tight ends. There is one tight end, actually, for Franklin. And the fullback and the tailback. They give it to the tailback, that is Stevens. And Stevens picks up a sizable chunk of yardage here going through the middle of the Altavista defense.
Marcus Stevens on the carry.
And they're going to mark that at about the 47-yard line, call it a gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
That's where Franklin really, in my opinion, has had the success, Oscar, going right up the middle. When they've tried to get on those edges, Altavista's speed has taken over, and the sound tackling has helped as well. Two wideouts again, a tight end, fullback, and a tailback. Here's a play, stretch play. They give it to Stevens. He's going left side. He's going to be able to turn the corner. No, he's not. He's hit hard and stopped by Juan Thornhill on the tackle. It's incredible the way Thornhill can beat the running back to the hole like that.
He got it from his safety position, threaded through the blocks, and was able to pull him down about 3 yards, 2 yards short. They're going to mark that at the 50. It'll be 2 yards short to bring up 4th and 2, and it'll be interesting to see how Franklin responds here.
Yep, they're going to snap it right from the 50-yard line, so you couldn't fault them for going for it, but you couldn't fault them for punting either, and they are going to go for it here. One tight end, two wideouts, fullback and a tailback, quarterback under center. Long snap count here. Colonels did not budge. Let's see if Franklin calls a timeout or if they want to run a play. It was definitely a hard count to try and jump Altavista offside. They may have changed the play. Now the quarterback's under center again. They are. They're going to give it to Stevens. Stevens lost the handle momentarily, and I think he stopped short. Thornhill got in on the tackle. Maul back in on the tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those left foot, right foot spots that I would think they're going to bring the chains out.
Yeah, Clay Teagarden also in on the stop. Stevens tried the right side. Altavista really got there at about the same time. They'll say he got enough for a first down. That'll move the chains. So a big pickup there by Stevens. He got the first down, but he didn't get much more. Give Altavista credit for really shutting him down.
It's the first down, obviously, for Franklin. He picked up 3.
Franklin is not a passing team. They didn't throw the ball much last year, didn't have to throw it much last year. We'll see if they get behind so much that they do have to take to the skies a little bit this year. Two wideouts and a tight end. Franklin will go under center again. They give it to Stevens. Going up the middle, not a whole lot there. Colonels clogged the hole. I think it was Destin Brown finally on the tackle and some extracurricular activities between Darius Johnson and a couple Franklin players. It was away from the football.
Looks like that's Darian Duck for Franklin. Both players, both teams kind of stepping in and handling their own business. Nice job by the officials, not throwing the flag real quickly there, but let both players know that they needed to back off.
Yeah, and that's good to see that you don't have to throw a flag every time. And really, when you have those offsetting penalties, what lesson does anybody really learn? You don't lose any yardage on the offsetting penalty. Two wideouts and a tight end again. Altavista crowding that line of scrimmage. Juan Thornhill, he's a safety, but really he's up like a linebacker tonight. It's almost like 4 linebackers. Passing play for Franklin. They'll heave it up. Navy Jones is there. Does he have the interception? No, they say it's incomplete. Navy Jones skied up there and broke up the pass, but he wanted the interception as well.
Great position by Navy. The ball did hang a little bit, but again, the way that the Colonels have aligned their defense, they're leaving the corners all back in Navy Jones one-on-one, and boy, athletically, they can hang with just about anybody.
Absolutely. A lot of responsibility out there on the edge for those guys, though. You're right. Franklin will go with two wideouts again in the tight end. Everybody from Franklin's got the wristbands on. They don't huddle up normally. They just signal in the play from the sideline, and everybody checks the wristband. Fullback and a tailback. Pittman in the low crouch there. They give it to Stevens. Stevens got to bounce off his own blocker. Now he's not going to be able to bounce off Juan Thornhill. Juan in on the stop again. Destin Brown was there. Also, Clay Teagarden again in on another stop right there. It was a small pickup, but not enough for the first down, and it'll make it about 4th and 5, Oscar. 3:47 to play here in the Apple Market first quarter. Franklin trailing 14-0 to Altavista. It looks like they're going to go for it again on 4th down.
Boy, it's going to be 4th, and we'll call it a long 4, and it'll be interesting to see again. Colonels, in my opinion, they need to stop here. 3:32, Colonels lead 14-0.
Colonels crowding that football again. Here comes the toss play this time. Pittman going to try left side. Colonels stringing it out. Let's see if they can get there in time. Looks like Pittman's got enough for the first down. Gets run out of bounds. Finally does go down along that far sideline, along the Franklin bench. Colonels' defense did a good job stringing it out, but Pittman just steadily turned the corner there. Or, excuse me, Marcus Stevens. Pittman is the quarterback. Stevens just steadily turned the corner there, and there wasn't much the Altavista defense could do to stop it.
No, gain of 6 on that play. Nice job by them stringing it out and staying engaged with their blocks and keeping the Colonel players from getting to. We haven't seen many people be able to go wide on the Colonels this year, but Franklin did a nice job stringing that play out and was able to get him to the edge.
Two wideouts, tailback and a fullback again, one tight end. Altavista really up along the line of scrimmage. Franklin wants to pass. Pittman throwing over the middle. Nobody there. He just led his receiver a little too far. Juan Thornhill gives an extra shot to the receiver coming across the middle. Pass goes incomplete, and that'll make it 2nd and 10.
Looking for Corey Porter on that play. And like you said, Juan laid the shoulder to him.
Yeah, lowered the shoulder a bit there as the ball went to the turf. 2nd and 10 now for Franklin. LaQuadric Pittman under center in the low crouch. Fakes it. They're going to pass again. I think he's looking for Porter again on that far sideline. Davy Jones there on the breakup. He had another chance at a pick, but timed it up good enough to knock it away, and that falls incomplete. Boy, back-to-back passing plays for Franklin.
Yeah, they threw the ball only twice last week in their victory, and they've already thrown it 4 times tonight. So,
yeah, I think one time when Bob and I went down there to watch William Campbell play Franklin, well, we didn't watch it. We broadcast it on 105.5. Franklin didn't throw the ball any. And then when we went back a few years later, Franklin threw the ball twice. One was for a touchdown, and one was for about a 70-yard gain. Timeout on the field. Let's see who called it. It looks like Franklin called the timeout. We'll take it with them. Colonels lead 14-0. Third down on the way for the Broncos. 3:10 to play here in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30-plus years. A free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. That's 369-6621. David W. Shreve congratulates the Colonels football team, and good luck. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located on 7th Street in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
3:10 to go here in the Apple Market first quarter. 3 great locations, Oscar: Gateway, Main Street, Riverside. Stop by the Apple Market tonight. Everything to make your weekend great, whether you're watching that Tech UVA game or maybe you're going hunting, maybe you're... I don't know what you're doing, Oscar. I really don't care. I just want you to stop by Apple Market.
I probably will on the way to the golf course.
Good. There you go. That's one I didn't mention. The fact that you're playing golf in this weather, too, is disturbing, but that's all right. It's your life. We'll let you live it. 3rd and 10 on the way for Franklin. And really the first sustained drive the Broncos have been able to get going all game. Granted, we're still early here, but the Altavista defense has been very good thus far.
Started on their own 42, and they're down at the 37 of the Colonels.
Need to get to the 26-yard line. Flag comes out. Really, for Franklin never could get started there. It looks like indications are this may go against the Colonels. It will. Offside on Altavista, so this will be 5 yards for Franklin. Make it 3rd and 5. You got to feel like it's 4-down territory again. After all, Franklin's picked up back-to-back 4th downs earlier.
Darius Johnson jumped. He was anticipating the snap count and brings up 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10. So, like you said, 2-down territory at this point.
Yeah, big change there. Pittman going to get under center in the low crouch. Looks over the defense. Now he does snap it, toss play again. They get it to Stevens. Stevens looking outside. He's got a lead blocker. Thornhill comes in low, hits him around the shins right there and drops Stevens. Stevens had good blocking, but Juan Thornhill, again, able to just wade his way through there. Small pickup. We'll call it a yard, and it'll bring up about 4th and 4, maybe 4th and 3 and long.
Well, the impressive thing about that play was Juan was getting blocked in the back as he made the tackle. So, again, we talk about the athleticism of Juan Thornhill. What a great play that was to be able to stay engaged and make that tackle.
Well, he really never ceases to amaze, does he? It's just when you think you've seen it all, he does something else. Timeout again. It looks like another one by Franklin. So really back-to-back timeouts. We'll take this one with them as well. 4th down on the way for Franklin. Let's see if the Colonels can get another big stop. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
This week's specials from your Apple Market's convenience stores. Get an 8-piece fried chicken box for only $6.99 from 4 to 8 p.m. every day and all day Sunday. Warm up with any size coffee or cappuccino for just 99 cents. Get a case of Coke at the special price of $6.99 now at Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. Check out the Apple Market Holiday Feast, including 10-pound boneless turkey or ham, 2 large sides, a dozen rolls, and a whole pie. Pre-order at Main Street or Riverside Apple Market. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 14-0 here. State quarterfinal action. And Altavista looking for another big stop on the defensive side here. They've come up with quite a few already in this football game, but Franklin has picked up their last 2 4th-down tries. They need about 4 yards here. LaQuadric Pittman talking things over with his backfield. Tights by the offensive line, the splits by the offensive line are a little bit tighter this time around. Here comes the play. They'll fake the run. They want to pass. They won't get a chance to. Ashton Robinson on the sack, the tackle for a loss. Big 4th down stop Ashton with a little celebration, and why not? What an excellent play right there by the Colonel defense again. Ashton Robinson coming through virtually unblocked, Oscar.
Virtually unblocked is an understatement. And let's give it to Ashton Robinson. Nobody worked harder in the offseason than Ashton did. He's picked up his speed. He has lifted. He's not the most athletic kid in the world, but, man, he has worked, and turned into one heck of a football player.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's missed a few games this year because he was a little banged up, but, boy, you see what a great benefit it is to have him in the lineup. Shotgun formation. Colonels are back on offense. They're going to start this drive from their own 35-yard line. 2 receivers to each side for Juan Thornhill. Franklin getting some personnel in on a little late. Juan wants to pass. Going to have to run out of the pocket, looking deep. Wobbly pass, but he's got Navy Jones complete along the sideline. What a great catch by Navy. He catches it on the 35. Colonels flip the field right there. What a pass play. And, again, Juan Thornhill never ceases to amaze. Runs out of the pocket. Doesn't throw the tightest spiral in the world, but it gets to Navy, and then Mr. Jones does the rest.
Thornhill 2 for 2. And if I told you that with 2:23, Colonel's leading 14-0 here in the first quarter, and Juan Thornhill has exactly 0 carries, you wouldn't believe me.
Well, the Colonels have only run about 3 or 4 plays on offense, correct? They've scored 2 long ones. The passing play from Thornhill to Malbeck, and then the running play. Yep. Well, let's see if they can score on their 4th play. They've been doing that a lot. Here comes a running play by Juan Thornhill, and he's got a chance to get in the end zone. He's across the 10-5 touchdown. Wow. I didn't know they were going to score, but I had a hunch. Ashton Robinson on the pole right there. Juan Thornhill followed him through the hole, and there was nobody between Juan and the end zone. Touchdown, Colonels, and the Colonels are rolling. 20-0 lead. Walker Allen on to try the extra point.
Again, 2 minutes here left in the first quarter. Colonels lead 20-0, pinning the extra point. He could go to 21. Don't get too excited too early. It's easy to do, but man, the Colonels look good.
Wow, Colonels look really good. 4 offensive plays, 3 touchdowns. Here comes the extra point.
Hey, man, my cousin.
And the kick is up, and the kick is good. 21-0. Altavista Colonels lead. Timeout here with 2 minutes to play in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they're priced right, with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Could not have scripted the opening any better for the Altavista Colonels. They've been scoring early. They've been scoring often. They're pitching a shutout on the defensive end too, Oscar.
Another 2 plays, total of 65 yards, and 32-second drive. Again, we just mentioned that, if Juan Thornhill hadn't had a run yet, lo and behold, what happens? Juan takes off on a little of that delay that we've seen, wide open.
It really was wide open. Franklin committing so many guys on the rush there, on the blitz, I guess, if you will, that when Juan Thornhill broke past the defensive line, it was clear sailing all the way to the end zone. 35-yard touchdown for Juan Thornhill and the Altavista Colonels. I think it's 5 offensive plays, 3 touchdowns and 5 offensive plays, but that's still pretty phenomenal stuff. 1 passing touchdown by Juan. He just added a rushing touchdown. And Clydell Moon ran for a 79-yard rushing touchdown. 21-0 lead. Colonels still with 2 minutes to go here in the Apple Market first quarter. Walker Allen on again. It's his 4th kickoff of the young evening. And you got to figure if you see Walker out there kicking a bunch, things are going the Colonels' way, and you'd be exactly right. This return will get fielded on about the 10-yard line. Decent size hole right there. Football came out late. It looks like Franklin jumped back on it, though. And the Broncos are going to start right around their own 30-yard line, middle of the field, 1:51 to go in the first quarter. Colonels with the big 21-0 lead, but this one is far from over. When Mike Sharnas gathered his whole ball club up there before that kickoff, Oscar, and I have a feeling that was probably part of the message, that there's still a long way to go, and Franklin is certainly capable of getting right back in this one.
Absolutely they are, and it looks like the Colonels have kind of flipped what happened last year down at Franklin. They're forcing Franklin to throw the ball now, and Franklin needs to be patient. They're a grinding team, and with plenty of time left, they could continue to grind.
Yep, they give it to Stevens. Not a lot there. Hole was clogged up. Looked like Dante Poindexter, and then the rest of the team got in on it. Let's see who gets up off the bottom of the pile. Destin Brown was there. Michi Malbec came in a little bit later. Clydell Moon was in on the stop as well. So really about half the defense helping out on that one. No gain. Bring it 2nd and 10 now for the Broncos.
And again, the Colonels continue to just stack all their players, all 11, within 5 yards of that line of scrimmage. They're daring them to throw the ball.
Pittman going to keep it on the quarterback follow type of play. Just follow the fullback and the tailback off left tackle there. Good size pickup right there along the left side. He's finally brought down by Thornhill and Darius Johnson.
Looks like they're going to spot that at about the 39-yard line, gain of 8. They'll bring up 3rd and 2, Kyle.
Colonels have had a couple 3-and-outs tonight. A stop right here would be big. That would mean they get the football back and look to go up.
Well, will they? I mean, Franklin's shown no inclination to punt.
That's a good point.
21-0, they may not.
That's a very good point. Running play again. Quarterback's going to keep it. He is hit in the backfield. Donovan Montague on the stop this time. LaQuadric Pittman was trying to keep it himself. It's going to be a loss of at least 2 yards, Oscar, maybe 3. We'll see where they finally move that stick.
They're going to mark that as a yard loss, and that's a pitiful spot. Not that I, but it still brings up 4th, and we'll call it 2.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right about what you said prior to that play. It looks like Franklin's going to go for it on 4th and 2 here.
4th and 2.
They're snapping this one from their own 39-yard line, so field position not exactly in their favor right now. They're taking their time. They may rethink this.
The quarter's winding down. 6:54 seconds left here in the first quarter. Cardinals lead 21-0.
Wow, is all you can say sometimes is wow. Colonels, I don't think they thought they'd be out to this big of a lead after 1 quarter of play. Second quarter on the way when we come back. Colonels lead 21-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
Man, it's cold in here. What's wrong with your heater?
Well, it used to work pretty good.
Back in the 90s, just call Select Air and get it fixed.
Oh, it'll probably cost a lot of money.
No, it won't, because Donnie will give you a fair price and get it done right the first time.
Maybe I'll call Select Air tomorrow.
No, you will call Select Air today, because it's freezing in here.
Select Air, 841-1580. 841-1580. Online at selectair.webs.com. You are listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Boy, Kyle, welcome back to Altavista High School English Stadium. Colonels lead 21-0 here at the beginning of the second quarter. The Colonels dominated 177 yards of offense, 119 on the ground, 58 through the air. Juan Thornhill perfect 2 for 2. Franklin with only 41 yards on the ground. That's their total output. And it's not like time of possession. The Colonels have only run 5 offensive plays.
Yeah.
So, Franklin's been able to grind, but the Colonels have continued to show what they've shown all year, that they can score from anywhere on the field, and they've got an arsenal of weapons.
Pretty incredible stuff so far. Colonels with the 21-0 lead. First play of the second quarter will be 4th and 2 for Franklin. They really need a pickup here to keep this drive going. Pittman under center. He's going to keep it himself on the sneak. I don't think he got it. He's very close. Dante Poindexter was there. Looked like Clay Teagarton was there. This one's going to depend on the spot. He needed to get past the 40-yard line. He really needed to get to about the 41-yard line. This ball gets set down. I don't know if they'll measure or not. They're eyeballing it right now, and now they are going to stop the clock, and they'll come out and measure. It looks from our vantage point like it's short, Oscar.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like it's short. They're going to measure this one. There was a play a little bit earlier that was much closer to this.
Yeah.
They didn't even call the chains out. They automatically marked it first down for Franklin. I'm not real worried, but they stretch the chains out. This thing's short. Colonel's first down. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say this is Colonel's ball.
Yeah, he's close, and you really got to give LaQuadric Pittman a lot of credit. He got close, but he did not get enough. They stretched the chains out, and he looks like he's about a full foot short. Colonel football on the turnover on downs. Not the first time that's happened this evening. Excellent play right there by the Colonel defense. Like I said, looked like Dante Poindexter was the first guy to hit Pittman.
And Colonels take over at the Franklin 40. Colonels are ready to snap the ball. Franklin's still getting on and off the field. They look a little dejected.
Yeah.
Boy, the Colonels right here can put a dagger in them. Not that the game would be over, but they certainly can take this game by the throat.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, Franklin, a lot of heads hanging there. They looked a little dejected. I don't know if Altavista's completely broken their spirit yet, but boy, the Colonels look like they're on their way, and a touchdown here would go a long way. Two receivers to each side. Altavista went with the hard count. Looks like Franklin jumped offside. It was big number 45, Anthony Lott Davis there. 6'3", 265. Davis at the nose guard position right there. So he's not a guy that's going to be easy to block. But it looked like he came across a little early. Officials discussing some things, though, so maybe it's not so cut and dried. Somebody from Altavista might have jumped. 11:56 to play here in the second quarter. It is a legal procedure on Altavista, so this will back the Colonels up 5 yards. Colonels ahead, 21-0.
Back to the 45, 1st and 15. Doesn't look like that hadn't been a problem so far for the Colonels.
Yeah, that's a great point. 3 touchdowns in 5 offensive plays, and the ones they haven't scored on have gone for big gains. You mentioned it. Thornhill's got a touchdown in the air. He's 2 for 2 passing. He's got a touchdown run on the only time he took off. And we'll see what happens here. 2 wide receivers each side again. 1st and 15. Colonels will snap this one from the 45. Thornhill going up the middle again. He's brought down after about a 4-yard gain. But how about the big block by Destin Brown going through the middle on the linebacker? That was some violent collision right there in the middle of the field. Solid pickup for Juan. Going to make it 2nd and 11 with 11:40 to play here in the second quarter.
It'll be interesting to see if the Coach Sharnish decides to throw the ball, or if they go back to Dustin Brown, try to keep that ground game established. They've been successful whatever they've tried tonight. So,
no kidding. That's their 6th offensive play from scrimmage. Here comes the snap. Thornhill wants to pass. He's got a pocket to throw from. He'll punch it out to Destin Brown. Brown's across the first down marker. Now he's across the 25. Finally dropped it to 20-yard line. Haven't seen the Colonels throw to the back out of the backfield much this year, Oscar, so that's a new little wrinkle. And, boy, with the way that one worked out, I bet you it's not the last time we see it. Excellent play.
Well, little did I know when I said it'd be interesting to see if Juan throws the ball, if they try to establish Destin, that he would throw the ball to Destin.
Right.
Again, we haven't seen that out of the backfield. We've seen that little wide receiver screen that they run so well, but certainly this was a different play for the Colonels. Nice pickup of 20. Juan remains perfect on the night.
Yeah, maybe something they knew they could exploit in Franklin's defense as well. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Moon is in the pistol formation right behind Juan Thornhill. They'll give it to Clydell. Clydell not as much room this time. He is dropped after about a 1-yard gain. Man had him around the waist and was trying to pull him back. Moon went down, and probably wisely so there, as some Franklin players were starting to grab at the football. Clydell a little slow to get up, but he's back in the small huddle that the Colonels form. The wide receivers stay out of the huddle. They just get a signal from the sideline. 10:25 to go in the second quarter. Getting ahead of myself here, Oscar.
That's right. Colonels lead 21-0, right at the marker, right at the red zone.
They're going to put Demetrius Johnson in motion. He comes near the right tackle. Thornhill fakes the option. He's going to keep it himself. He's got some room. He's across the 10. He's across the 5. He's in the end zone. Juan Thornhill with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening. It started out as an option, but Juan Thornhill faked the pitch, kept it. Great blocking out there on the edge by Demetrius Johnson and Michi Malback. Juan Thornhill in the end zone again on a 20-yard score.
Well, that was an absolutely filthy fake pitch, because it froze everybody out there. It almost froze me. I mean, what a great ball handling skills. It looked like little point guard action.
Yeah.
Boy, 10:07 remaining here in the second quarter. Colonels up big, 27-0.
Well, I know a lot of Colonels fans liked Altavista's chances, but I think they didn't realize the score would be this wide of a margin right now. Snap is back. It gets to the kicking block. Allen looks like he pulled it a little bit, but he snuck it inside the left upright. Allen is a perfect 4 for 4 on extra points. Colonels are pretty much perfect. They lead 28-0. Timeout. 10:07 to go here in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
10:07 to play here in the Apple Market second quarter. 28-0. Colonels lead. Oscar, doesn't get much more perfect than this right now if you're an Altavista fan anyway.
No. Again, I don't think anybody saw this coming. That, social media is a wonderful thing, and you talk about Virginia preps. There's some message boards, and the eastern side of the state, down in the Sussex area, said that this was going to be very similar outcome to last year, and there were some prognosticators on the VHSL website that said that this was a pick'em game, but boy, right now Colonels have dominated this ball game.
It really is. There's really no other way to describe it. Colonel's defense hasn't allowed a point. They've allowed very few first downs for that matter. And the Colonel offense, I think 4 touchdowns in maybe 7 or 8 plays now. Does that sound right? It's not many more than 8 plays, that's for sure. Allen will kick it deep. Franklin's going to field this one on the 10-yard line. Stevens going to go right up the middle. Ooh, hit hard right there. Stayed on his feet initially. And now he gets met by the big rugby scrum and will finally go down. Good job by Stevens on the return. Stayed on his feet.
Demetrius Johnson put the hammer to him. They met. It was a violent collision, and that's 2 big boys.
That is, and that was the 2 big boys really going full speed right there. Then he's brought down by the entire team. Robinson in on the stop. Traquan Farmer in on the stop. And it looked like Nelson Dews down there helping out on the tackle as well.
And, somebody from the Colonels fan base brought in a train whistle, and right now Franklin's got to be wondering what train has run over him.
Yeah. You don't want to be on the tracks when the Colonels are coming through, that's for sure. Franklin going to huddle up about 5 yards deep. Really the first time I've seen him huddle. I mentioned those wristbands that they use. Now they'll break the huddle. They send in some personnel a little late. Franklin does not look like they're really organized right now, Oscar.
No, they broke the huddle. Interesting, like you said, interesting. I don't know if they're trying to scramble and.
Yeah. Flag comes out. Franklin took too much time. I was wondering when that was happening. Delay game penalty against Franklin, and I mentioned it, just not organized. I'm sure the score has something to do with it. And possibly some injuries on the far sideline there for Franklin as well. They didn't have the right personnel, and then even when they got the right personnel, they sort of just stood around.
That's actually the first penalty on Franklin tonight. Colonels with 20 yards in penalty, Franklin with 5, and there hadn't been a no sportsmanlike yet.
No, 1st and 15. They'll snap this one from the 25-yard line. Passing play. Flag goes out. Play is complete. Number 10, Antonio Elliott, is hit hard and driven back. Football came out momentarily, too. Franklin got it back. It just bobbled around. The flag came out before Elliott caught it. He was hit by Navy Jones, Clydell Moon, Michi Malback, Juan Thornhill. A lot of guys in the secondary in on that stop. And let's see what the penalty is.
There was some kind of almost like a pick run, a pick from the Franklin side. Illegal shift.
Illegal shift against the Broncos.
That negates that whole play.
Yeah, and perhaps a little more to the lack of organization by Franklin there with the illegal shift. Somebody wasn't set. They're just going to decline it. And let's see where they spot this ball. So it'll go as about a 5-yard gain. Make it 2nd and 10 for Altavista. And the Colonels' defense looks ready to swarm again in the 3-3 stack. Franklin checking those wristbands.
Now Juan's backed off a little bit. He's about 7 or 8 yards back downfield now, playing that safety role.
Yeah, I think they sense looks like a busted play. Pittman went to the right looking for the handoff. He'll just keep it himself. Going to make the best of a bad situation. Hitting the thigh pad by Michi Malback. Goes out of bounds. Give LaQuadric Pittman some credit, though. The running back was not where he was supposed to be. Or perhaps he went the wrong way. But either way, he was able to get a short gain out of it.
Yeah, the flow of that play came left, and Pittman went right, and there was nobody there with him. He did a good job to pick up those 5 yards. He had Darius Johnson was in hot pursuit of him.
3rd and 5 now. Colonel defense looking to make another big stop on 3rd down. 9:14 to play here in the first half. Pittman checking his backs out, making sure everybody's straight. Triple I formation. They'll hand it to Stevens. Stevens working his way around right tackle. He's dropped short of the 1st down. He may have stretched out past the 1st down. Let's see where the spot goes. Colonel defense was there. Darius Johnson in on the stop. Also Clay Teagarden there as well. He got close to that 1st down marker, Oscar, but I think he's a little short.
Down for the Broncos.
Yeah, it's gonna be about a football short.
And it looks like Franklin going to go for it again. 2 tight ends, fullback, and another fullback behind him. And then now they give it to Stevens, and Stevens is dropped in the backfield. Big tackle by Demetrius Johnson. Colonels with another 4th down stop. Boy, this is getting to be really one of the finest defensive performances I've seen in a long time, Oscar, at least in one half anyway. The Colonels' defense What's that, 3 or 4 fourth down stops now for Altavista?
At least, and I'll be able to tabulate it up at halftime.
And Oscar even invented a new term tonight. That's fantastic. Demetrius Johnson just stormed his way through that offensive line. He really hit Marcus Stevens about the time he got the football and dropped him right in his tracks. Colonel's offense going to take over. They'll be snapping this one from the middle of the field, Franklin 38-yard line. Colonels will go with one tight end themselves. Donovan Montague in there at the tight end spot now. 3 wide receivers. Destin Brown is to Juan Thornhill's right. They're going to motion Michi Mall back to the left. Running play. Thornhill's going to go to his right. Flag comes out. He's got a good lead blocker, and he's got a good chance to score. He's across the 15, 10-5, touchdown. Thornhill slowed down there for the last 10 yards. I think he saw the flag come out, and he's assuming this is going to be against the Altavista Colonels. Probably is. Somebody, I think, was not lined up correctly for Altavista, Oscar.
Disagrees with it. He's not happy with it. Illegal shift. That's been a point of emphasis this year. Boy, what a shame.
Yeah, excellent play right there. And really the Colonels kind of a different formation with the tight end. Then they motion Michi Mall back to the left and run back away from the motion. It'll make it 1st and 15 for the Altavista Colonels after the penalty.
Puts it back at the 43-yard line. And again, another situation. Thornhill got out on the edge. Nice job blocking by Destin Brown. And again, nobody within yards of Juan Thornhill.
Yeah, Destin Brown really impressive tonight as a lead blocker, whether it's been up the middle on that isolation play or out there on the edge on the sweep play. Destin Brown has been a force to be reckoned with. Bunch formation now to the left side for the Altavista Colonels. Brown in the backfield to Thornhill's right. Here comes a shotgun snap on 1st and 15. Passing play. Juan's got a decent pocket to throw from. Now steps up to avoid the rush, looking deep, and he's got Darius Johnson deep. Ooh, and it went right through Darius's hands. Darius got a little twisted around on the route. Pass goes incomplete. Juan Thornhill really showing off a good arm right there as he threw it deep to Darius, and I think maybe Darius didn't realize how deep Juan was going to throw it.
Well, he did, and he got a little bit turned around and couldn't quite get turned back the right way. The ball was there. Nobody more frustrated than Johnson. He thought he should have had it, and in all actuality, he probably should have.
It was a good passing play, and again, Juan had a good initial pocket to throw from. Altavista O-line did a good job of fanning everybody outside wide so Juan could just step up and throw the fastball out there.
8:20, Kyle, remaining here in the second quarter. Colonels lead 28-0. Colonels kind of stalled out here. Second down and about 14.
Well, at least stalled out by their standards anyway. Michi goes in motion. I think somebody moved on that far sideline over there. This penalty, I think, is going to go against the Altavista Colonels. Should make it 2nd and 20 on the illegal procedure.
Looks like Teagarden was the one that moved. Penalties really starting to stack up here against the Colonels.
Yep. And it's not good. And really, you know, when you consider that the Altavista Colonels have a 28-0 lead, you wouldn't expect for them to be racking up these penalties. But it speaks to how good the Altavista defense is, and it speaks to how quickly the Altavista offense can score, and can score from anywhere on the field. I mean, let's face it, with the explosive nature of the Colonels' offense, Oscar, down and distance really doesn't matter a lot of times. I hate to just say it like the penalties don't matter, but, I mean, it's true. The way the Colonels can score doesn't really matter if it's 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 1. They have a chance at scoring on every single play. One tight end again, 3 wide receivers. They fake it to Mall back and go right up the middle. Juan Thornhill didn't really have a whole lot of blocking. He had to shrug off 1 or 2 tacklers. Then he's finally spun around and thrown to the turf.
Still picked up 5, brings up 3rd about 15. The one thing that you got to be careful of is you don't want to give Franklin any momentum.
Yeah.
You want to, I mean, you've got them down 28-0. You want to, I don't want this to sound cruel, you want to step on them right now.
No, you're exactly right. You don't want to give Franklin any reason to think they can get back in the ball game. And especially with as dejected as Franklin looked there for a while, you don't want to do anything that'll improve their hopes. 3rd and long here for the Colonels. They'll fake it to Destin Brown. Juan Thornhill wants to throw. He's got to run himself out of the pocket. Now he's twisted around, needs to get rid of the football. Finally does. Let's see if he's got a man. He had Navy Jones. Navy put his hands on it, but the pass was a little bit low, and it certainly wasn't the formation Navy thought he was going to be running, or the route Navy thought he was going to be running. Good job by Juan Thornhill to escape the pressure and throw it out of there. At least he saved some yards. But this will bring up 4th and 15, and the Colonels will punt with 7:33 to go in the half. They lead 28-0.
First time we've seen Walker Allen on the field to punt tonight, obviously. And the Colonels had great field position there and really were unable to move the ball.
And again, it's a strange turn of events there because it looked like Altavista's offense could do no wrong. Give the Franklin Broncos defense a lot of credit there, though. They seem to have tightened up, and perhaps they've made some adjustments. Snap gets back to Walker Allen. Not much of a rush, so he'll be able to get the kickoff. It'll land on the 20, take a good Altavista bounce, and we'll finally roll dead on about the 13-yard line, down by Nelson Dews, in on the coverage. And that's where Franklin will take over on their own 13-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the left hash mark. Broncos have 7:24 to try and go the length of the field here before the half ends.
And quite frankly, the Colonels have shown no inclination on letting them score.
No.
The defense, like you said, probably the best defensive game we've seen them play, although it'd be hard-pressed against the Dan River team. But, I think this is a little bit more potent offense than what Dan River had, a little bit more versatile weapons. But, boy, this hadn't been a bend, not break. This has just been a shutdown in your face, and you're not moving the ball.
Yeah, there's not even any bend. I mean, you got to remember in that Dan River game, Altavista got all the interceptions. Here, Franklin's just not even able to get many yards. Robinson and Dante Poindexter trying to clog the middle. They run the toss play on the outside here. Navy Jones makes the stop with a shoulder tackle. Clyde O'Moon in on as well. It'll be about a 5-yard pickup for Marcus Stevens in on the carry. No, actually it might have been number 3, Latrell Lane there getting some carries for the Broncos. They called about a 4.5-yard pickup for Lane.
And the concern here is, the Colonels have struck off and then they struck quickly. And, the defense, a lot of the same kids have been on the field for a long time. You start to wear down a little bit defensively.
Yep, they're going to give it to Lane again. Lane hit hard in the backfield. He had to bounce off one of his own guys. Then he was unable to bounce off Demetrius Johnson, who drops him for a loss. They may say Lane got it back to the line of scrimmage. They actually give him a loss of about 1. 6:38 to play here in the Apple Market second quarter. Subway halftime show to follow us. And then the Colonels will be getting the ball to end halftime. Not to say that the Colonels won't get the football back here before the half ends. 3rd and long. We'll call it 3rd and 8 for the Broncos. 2 wideouts to each side.
Got to wonder if they're in 2-down territory for them again.
It might be hit hard in the backfield. Looks like Destin Brown in on the sack. He just came through there. He really timed up the snap count perfectly. Dropped Pittman for about a 5-yard loss. This will bring up 4th down, and now the punt unit will trot out for Franklin. And, boy, it's all Altavista again, a 3-and-out for the defense, Oscar.
Brown was part of that 4x100-meter track team, and, boy, he had a running start on that, and it was all over.
Nobody accounted for Destin Brown on the blitz right there. Franklin is going to have to punt, and they're going to have to do it from their own end zone, too. It looks like Jesus Padilla in on the punt. Franklin getting some more personnel off. Again, organization not really a high point for Franklin so far here tonight. Michi Mall back deep to return. Here comes the snap, a little low. Padilla might have had his knee on the ground when he picked up the ball, and he does. They're blowing the whistle, and they're going to call it a safety. Padilla had his knee on the ground when he fielded the low snap. It's 2 more points for the Altavista Colonels. That's going to make it 30-0, and Altavista will have to get the ball back after the free kick. We'll take a timeout. 30-0 lead. The Colonels are going to get the football back. 5:25 to go in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Todd Hall, president of First National Bank. For over 100 years, we have proudly served our customers in Central Virginia, and we're excited about continuing to provide financial solutions into the future. At First National Bank, our focus is on you, the customer, and delivering a very high level of service is our top priority. In fact, our employees are empowered to make decisions that provide you an extraordinary customer experience. So stop in one of our 8 local branches and give us a try. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels pick up the safety, first one of the season. Franklin will have to kick it away from the 20-yard line, their own 20-yard line. You can kick it off or you can punt it. Looks like Franklin's got a tee on the ground, so they're going to kick it off. But Altavista will have a chance at scoring even more points, Oscar. They lead 30-0. If you'd have told me there was a chance the Colonels might have a running clock in the second half, I probably would have laughed in your face, because this is a good Franklin team. Altavista's just got everything going their way so far here tonight.
Boy, they absolutely do. And, boy, 30-0 with 5:26 remaining. I'm I'm speechless, and that doesn't happen very often.
I think a lot of folks are speechless. I think the Altavista crowd a little speechless. They're not as loud and as raucous as I thought they'd be. I think maybe, like I said, they're just a little bit surprised. Padilla looks like he's going to kick it off again from the tee. Malback and Navy Jones deep to return for the Altavista Colonels. They're each on about the 30-yard line, and it looks like Michi Malback's going to have a chance to field it. Gets on the 29-yard line, starting up the middle. Now he's full speed looking to the right side. Avoids one tackler. Not going to be able to avoid the second and third guys, though. Decent return for Michi Malback. Gets it to the 45-yard line. And that's where Altavista will take over. Right hash mark, 1st and 10. They are leading 30-0. Again, the defense. Just can't say enough about the defense. A 3-and-out there. And then Padilla really didn't have much of a rush coming, but I think it's just a byproduct of the situation Franklin's in. It's just one more mistake that they made, and it ends up costing them 2 points and perhaps 7 more on top of that if the Colonels can score.
And the Colonels in, at their own 46, but they're in great field position, and they've, other than the one play that last drive that stalled out, they've shown that they've been able to move the ball at will.
Yep, flag out on the field. And this flag came out early. I wonder if Franklin's got too many guys on the field. We'll see. Yeah, it is going to be on Franklin, the old illegal participation. And probably they had too many men out there.
Well, they tried everything else. You might as well try 12 players.
Sneak an extra guy out there.
11 certainly hasn't been able to stop this Colonel's offense.
Yeah, sometimes I've heard of people doing that out there on the goal line. You run 2 in, just send 1 off, hope nobody notices. And if they do notice, you're only losing half the distance to the goal anyway, like if the other team's on the 1-yard line. Let's move Altavista to the other 49-yard line. They're now in Franklin territory. Colonel's going left to right on your radio dial. Whistles come out again. Franklin getting some people on and off, and it's going to be another timeout for Franklin. Again, Broncos just not very organized right now, Oscar. We'll try and get organized ourselves as we take a timeout with them. Colonels lead 30-0, 5:19 to go here in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
The following is brought to you by English Construction Company.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Franklin uses their third and final timeout of the half, Oscar, and don't know what Coach Darren Parker's message is right now. His team trails 30-0, and it's not a situation that Franklin finds himself in often, that's for sure.
Boy, and Darren Parker's got to be scratching his head. They have not had any kind of issues. They did trail 14-12 last week in the other game, so they have been behind, but
Thornhill going to run it up the middle. Not much there as he's lassoed around the neck and brought down.
No gain?
No gain on the play there. Good solid tackle by Franklin.
Yeah, it's always interesting that the Franklin player that brought one down stood over him and taunted him a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
You're leading 30. You're trailing 30-0, and you got a guy that's only averaging 15.8 yards per carry, and you're taunting him.
Is that all?
That's it.
Thornhill getting the offense set back up. Looks like 2 receivers to each side. Both Johnson brothers on the same side. Don't see that a lot. Usually they're opposite of each other. And it's actually 3 receivers. Looks like Donovan Montague in there at a tight end. Moon is right behind Thornhill. They'll put they'll put Malback in motion. Option play to the left. Thornhill wants to keep it. Juan is able to turn the corner. He's got some green space in front of him. Montague blocking downfield. Juan will get drug out of bounds around the 19-yard line. Ends up all the way on the track over there as he is thrown out of bounds. Juan just a little slow to get up, but he is helped up by Donovan Montague, who made the great block, and a big pickup for Juan Thornhill.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, that ball, that tackle was 7-8 yards out of bounds when he brought him down on the track. You got to wonder why there wasn't a flag thrown on that.
Hard to say. Navy Jones will come in and give Donovan Montague a breather. Montague with an excellent block out there on the edge for Juan Thornhill. And he said he was going for about 15 yards a carry. Well, that average did not get any lower with that big pickup right there.
Pick up a 31 on that play.
Colonels will snap this one from the Franklin 19-yard line. Altavista offense is set. The ball was still over there by the track. They figured Hey, we'll probably need that. Now they'll exchange another ball out. I wonder if Altavista was using a Franklin ball there. Each team uses their own ball on offense if fans at home aren't familiar with that. It's not like the NFL where everybody's just got one standard football. Thornhill's going to snap it. He'll hand it off to Clydell Moon. Moon's got some room. Now he shakes off one tackler, has to sidestep another, cut down with a thigh tackle. Ball pops out. I think he was probably down, but let's wait and see a signal. No signal yet, and they will say he was down. And Moon got dropped right around the 6-yard line, stretched the football out to the 4-yard line, so this will be 1st and goal. Altavista Colonel's knocking on the door again. Let's see if they go under center like they do sometimes in these short yardage situations,
Tough
Oscar.
run in there from Clydell. He was stopped a couple times, continued to drive, Clydell's a strong kid, and he was amped up before this ball game.
No kidding.
He little hip swivel, and he was able to throw the defenders off. Colonel's 1st and goal from the 4.
Colonels will go under center. 2 tight ends, 3 backs, and a T. They're going to give it to Destin Brown right up the middle. Brown is in for 6. Altavista continues to roll 36-0. Altavista Colonels. Fireworks going off, sirens going off, fans are going crazy, and Altavista is really in the driver's seat now, Oscar. 36-0. Walker Allen on to try another extra point. 4-yard touchdown run for Destin Brown. Comes with 3:48 to go in the half. And remember, we are still in the first half, and the Colonels are up 36-0.
Yeah, the Colonels are making a statement.
No kidding. High snap. Thornhill's going to have to try and make something out of it. He does. He finds Demetrius Johnson in the end zone. It was not a planned fake. The snap was just a little high, and Juan did what he does best. He made something happen. Great catch by Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius did a great job of recognizing once the play had broken down. He peeled off and got open. Great play by Johnson. This team is so much in sync that even that can't disrupt them.
You're exactly right. High snap doesn't matter. We'll take a timeout. Colonels up big, 38-0. Just under 4 minutes to go in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg, your home for award-winning high school football.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today. El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
38-0. Colonels continue to roll. Even the high snap on the extra point can't slow them down. Thornhill with the 2-point conversion to Demetrius Johnson. Destin Brown got him in the end zone from 4 yards out. And, boy, it all started with the safety there, so give the defense another tip of the cap in that regard.
4 plays.
Back on the field.
4 plays, and it was 54 yards.
Yeah, they scampered up and down 54 yards pretty quickly. There was a 5-yard penalty in there as well, but I don't think that would have slowed down the Colonels much, even if that didn't happen. Kick's going to get fielded on the 15-yard line by number 4, and that's Javante Baker. Baker trying to turn the corner. He went all the way over to the right sideline. Not a whole lot there. Good solid return, though. He's going to get him to about the 25-yard line.
Destin Brown on that tackle.
Yeah, you talk about Clydell Moon was amped up. Boy, I think everybody's amped up, Destin Brown included. I think he had the first tackle of the game. Hasn't slowed down much anyway after that. And 3:41 remaining here in the Apple Market second quarter when this first down play will get snapped. Far hash mark for the Franklin Broncos. They would really love to get something going, and I think Darren Parker kind of seeing the writing on the wall. I don't know that he's just going to start airing it out, Oscar. He may just want to run the ball and try and shorten the game as much as possible. But it will be a passing play on first down, and it's complete. They swing it out to what I think is the tight end, number 7, Corey Porter. I think he was lined up at tight end. Good pass and catch there. Short gain. 5-yard pickup. Juan Thornhill in on the stop from the safety position.
And they may be forced to start throwing the ball.
Yeah, and no offense to LaQuadrick Pittman, but he's not a pure pocket passer. He needs to have some sort of a play-action fake, something to hold the defensive secondary. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's just going to sit back in there in the pocket and scan the first and second and third options. But we'll see. Under center again, they'll run the toss play to Stevens. Stevens trying to bounce it outside. Not a whole lot there. Run down on the backside by Destin Brown. Brown just grabbed a hold of his waist and would not let go. Good job by the rest of the Colonel defense to really string it out and allow Destin to catch him from behind. Loss of 1 or 2 yards, and this will make it 3rd and 8 now for the Broncos, a situation that they're becoming all too familiar with.
They're going to mark that back at the 27, loss of 3, Kyle. And again, you're absolutely right. Once again, the Colonels, Dustin Brown may not be getting the carries on offense, but boy, he is playing one heck of a defensive game.
Absolutely. Great tackling there, chasing him down from the backside. Pittman wants to pass again, slings it out, looking right sideline. Malback goes up, knocks it away. No, he intercepted it. Oh, wow, then he sidesteps the man, actually stepped out of bounds. Boy, Michi Malback, I thought he just batted it away. He got an interception, Oscar, and it's a turnover by the Altavista Colonels defense.
Well, he did bat it away, and then the Franklin player actually got his hand on it, and lo and behold, he batted it, and nice job by Michi staying with the play, staying concentrated, and reeled that thing in.
Man, excellent stuff right there from Michi Ballback on the interception. Franklin's defense is going to huddle up on the far sideline. They better break that huddle because Altavista's offense is ready to go. The officials giving them some time over there to huddle up, and I don't know what that's all about. I know Franklin's out of timeouts. Now the Colonels are ready to snap the football. Franklin starting to get lined up. They're chasing some players off the field. And the referees will stop play. I guess they had to give Franklin a chance to substitute. Who knows? It's Altavista Colonel football, 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. Altavista's got 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. Thornhill wants to run it to the right. He's got Destin Brown as the lead blocker. Juan's got some space out on the edge, slips and falls down. Just a little slippery turf out there. It looks like Juan picked up about 9 or 10. He's close to the first down when he fell down. Juan getting up a little slow. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just sort of kicking himself for not taking that one to the house because he did have some room.
He did, but once again, he tried to make that cut off his inside foot. And anytime you do that, you really, it's difficult to do.
Yeah, especially when you get going full speed like Juan was. He had some nice lead blocking by Montague and also Destin Brown. They're going to stop the clock here, and they're going to come out and measure.
And, we had 2 to 3 inches of rain here over the last 2 or 3 days. But again, field in remarkable shape.
Yeah, I really haven't seen anybody slip too much. Well, the running back Marcus Stevens for Franklin might have slipped a little bit on that one play, but for the most part, footing has been good. 2:01 to play here as the measurement comes out. 38-0, Altavista leads. Again, that is not an incorrect statement. The Colonels lead 38-0 in the first half. And it looks like the Colonels are about a yard short here after the measurement. Maybe not quite a yard, maybe a little less than that.
About the length of a football.
So it'll make it 2nd and 1, 2nd and inches, if you will. Colonels are going to snap this from the Franklin 36-yard line.
It'd be interesting to see if the referees hold the Colonels and not let them snap the ball until Franklin's ready.
Yeah, when the Colonels got the interception, they have done a nice job. They haven't thrown too many flags, and they seem to have kept everybody in business. Of course, the big score kind of eliminates a lot of talking as well.
Sometimes it does. But
sometimes yeah.
You're trailing 38-0. A lot of times you start to see some cheap shots and some barking with that. But the officials have kept that in check, let it be known early that they weren't going to tolerate it, and they've done a nice job with that.
Altavista's got the field spread out here. They'll hand it off. No, Juan Thornhill's going to keep it, using Destin Brown as a lead blocker. Picks up about 6, gets a first down, falls forward to the 30-yard line. Altavista really had the receivers spread out, giving Juan some room to run up the middle.
Clock continues to run. They move the chains. 1:50 here remaining in the second quarter. Colonels lead 38.
Juan Thornhill wants to pass. He's looking for Malback over the middle. He's got him. Ball's a little underthrown. Michi tried to go get it. Got hit hard. Flag comes out. Ball was incomplete. Fell to the turf. Michi got his hands on it.
Flag on the play.
And I don't know if they're going to say the defensive back hit a defenseless receiver, unnecessary roughness type of play. It didn't look like there was any pass interference in there. The ball was a little underthrown.
Now, Michi had his hands on it. I thought he was going to reel it in.
I did too.
Exactly what it's going to be is personal foul for, like you said, defenseless receiver. That's a point of emphasis this year as well. Ball was at the 30. They should mark that back at the 15-yard line. Half the distance, 15-yard penalty. Should put it at the 15.
Yep, and that's something that big at all levels of football. Certainly, if you watch the NFL, you hear a lot about that. And it does go a long way to keeping the game a lot safer. Ball will get spotted on the 15-yard line. Thornhill giving some instructions to the O-line there. 1st and 10 for the Altavista Colonels. First down marker right there at the 5.
And let's give it to Coach Sharness. He is not backing down. He's got a 38-point lead, and he wants to put more on the board.
That's exactly right. He wants to score as many times as he can. Maulback going in motion. Juan lets him go through. They hand it to Destin Brown. Ashton Robinson pulling guard. Destin Brown across the 10, across the 5, lowers his shoulder. Touchdown. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Destin Brown running over a defender, Oscar Briggs. What a run right there by Destin Brown. Followed Ashton Robinson on the pull. He had Montague again out on the edge blocking for him. And Destin Brown, he already got in the house from 4 yards out. This one's from 15 yards out.
It's good to see because Destin's done a great job blocking tonight. He's done a great job on defense. And, buddy, he dealt out some punishment.
Yeah.
Somebody had him stopped about 7 yards deep. He lowered the shoulder and absolutely hammered the kid.
Wow. Now there's a little bit of a scuffle breaking out on the extra point. Bunch of players involved on this one. It was pretty much the entire offensive line. Coaches for both sides doing a good job keeping everybody on the sidelines. Now some coaches for Franklin run out there and separate a few players. Referees got in there to break it up. Referees were kind of not watching there momentarily, trying to figure out. Don't know any exact names and numbers, Oscar. That's because it was really the entire special teams unit for both clubs. But again, give credit to both coaching staffs. They kept everybody on the sideline, which is important when those things start getting weird out there.
Well, we just mentioned, anytime you get a score that's lopsided like this, and the amount of barking that was going on, and both teams' high expectations, and Altavista has stepped up and just dominated this Franklin team. And
the Franklin special teams unit walking off the field now.
Coach Parker's taking all of them over, and I think he's reading them the riot act.
I think so. Colonel's special teams extra point unit still on the field right now, just kind of waiting to see what this gets sorted out. I have a feeling this is going to have to be an offsetting penalty. You would think, anyway. First one goes against the Altavista Colonels, and the second one will go against Franklin. So it is offsetting. And I think Coach Darren Parker is going to send the extra point team back out there. Now the official just gave a signal that the kick is good. Then he gave another signal that the kick is no good. They're going to actually step this. No, they're not. They are. Okay, they got it marked at the 3-yard line there for the extra point. I think the officials want Coach Darren Parker to send his team back out on the field.
This is the second time that this is there's been a delay in the game like this.
It's almost like Coach Parker's taking a timeout over there without taking a timeout. He's got his entire team huddled up. Well, he doesn't have his entire team, but he's got 11 huddled up there on the far sideline, right around the 5-yard line.
We saw this at Galax, and against Coach Sharness is out. He is not happy. He's barking at the officials, saying, Now,
well, I'm with you. If you don't have a timeout, it seems like you can't take a timeout and just call your team over there and talk to them.
I think the officials are there may be some discussion about some ejection here.
That's possible.
Again, I'm speculating.
Yep.
It's hard to tell, but you've got four of the officials over talking to the Franklin team. Coach Sharness out now at the 3-yard line at the point of snap. He is wondering, what's going on.
Yep.
Oh, so the officials tell Sharness to get back to the sidelines.
44-0 is the Altavista Colonel lead. Let's tell you what we know. It's been all Colonels early and often and all the time. Destin Brown just scored his second rushing touchdown, got in from 15 yards out. They were setting up for the extra point. Then a little brouhaha, if you will, developed right around where the ball was going to be snapped from. Now Franklin comes back out on the field. Looks like Altavista is just going to snap it and kick the extra point again. One of the officials, the head official, coming over to talk to Coach Sharness and telling him, hopefully, what's going on. If you're confused at home in Radio Land, don't worry, we are too. Altavista is just waiting to kick the extra point now. And it looks like the officials have got everything sorted out. Couldn't really tell, again, who was involved, if there was any punches, that kind of stuff. It looked like just a big mass of bodies, and then the officials ran in there and sort of separated everybody. Walker Allen on to try the extra point. Seems like they're getting everything squared away now. There's 1:33 left to play here in the Apple Market second quarter.
3 plays, 46 yards on that drive.
Oh, it was one of those kind of drives, huh? Colonel's been doing it all night, Oscar, and they've been doing it all year, really, for that matter. Snap is back. Kick is up, and the kick looks like it's right down. No, the kick missed the kick. Walker Allen must have pulled it a little bit. I thought it looked good from here, but not the best angle in the world. 44-0. Colonel's lead. Timeout with a minute and a half to go in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
You can buy paint from any old yahoo who knows nothing about paint in one of those big box stores. For quality paint from people who really know paint, it's Davis Paints from your complete home center, English's. Davis Paints, which has been known for quality since 1921, is not just sold anywhere. Visit the new paint room at English's, your authorized Davis Paint dealer.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
44-0 is the Altavista Colonel lead, and again, that is not a mistake. 44-0, the Altavista Colonel lead. State quarterfinal action against the Franklin Broncos, a team, Oscar, that we thought was really going to be a handful, and I think on most other nights probably would be a handful. Just sort of the perfect storm for the Colonels here tonight.
Well, it has been, and we talked about the importance of the Colonels getting off to a quick start. They really did, and Franklin just had no answer for anything that the Colonels have thrown at them offensively, and as Franklin's tried to do several things, they've tried throwing the ball, they've tried throwing some short patterns, throwing it a little bit deeper, they've tried running the ball. Colonel's defense are having none of any of it.
Yeah, I guess the only thing Franklin really hasn't tried was maybe they haven't tried some sort of a trick play, a reverse, a flea flicker, but at this point, I don't think it matters, and it's probably not even worth giving it a try. Walker Allen on to try his umpteenth kickoff of the night. Don't forget, Colonels get the ball to start the second half, too. And you knew it was going to be a good start, or you knew it was going to be a good game, I think, by the way the Colonels started there with the opening kickoff. They didn't onside kick it, but they ended up getting the ball back on the short kick. Walker Allen will kick this one long, and it looks like Stevens on the return there, starting at about the 15-yard line. Going to take it out to the right side. Michi Malback looking for the big tackle. He missed, but slowed him down enough. And now finally Stevens will hit the turf on the return. Solid pickup on the return yardage for Stevens as he gets it all the way to about the 31-yard line. It was Donovan Montague, I think, that eventually made the stop. They'll actually put this thing around the 33-yard line. So the Broncos will scrimmage from the far hash mark. 1st and 10, minute 23 to go in the half.
And Colonels with all three timeouts.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that if Franklin runs the ball, Altavista might be inclined to take those timeouts and try and get as much as they can get here in the first half.
Boy, I think you do.
Running play again. They'll give it to Stevens. He's looking to go outside, and he's not going to get there. He is run down again. Clydell Moon, Juan Thornhill also in on the stop. They combined. Juan got him from behind. Clydell got him from the front. Big-time stop right there. Loss of one for Franklin.
Yeah, it was, and Ashton Robinson was there to clean up. It's a good thing he went down because Ashton had a full head of steam, and if he'd have stayed up, he'd have gotten hammered as well.
Colonel's not going to use the timeout. They'll let the clock run. 56 seconds now. Franklin probably will have it down to about 45 seconds when they finally snap it. Here comes the snap, running play. They give it to the fullback. That's Terry Warren. Warren forging his way up the middle, just refusing to go down. Thornhill trying to rip the football out. Bunch of Colonels in on the stop, about 4 or 5 black jerseys. First down pickup. And, boy, that's a play that's really been their most successful play, Oscar, and they haven't been able to run it too much. They have not given it to the fullback, but you got to think Warren's gained about 5 or 6 yards every time he's carried it.
Well, and again, that's the first time they tried that little fullback play here in the last in this quarter.
Yeah, they gave it to Stevens on the counter play this time. He's dropped by Destin Brown. Brown got a hold of his thigh pads and would not let go. I guess it's just hard when you're down by so much, 28-0, then 30-0, then 37-0. It's hard to just give it to the fullback every time like that. But, boy, when you're gaining 5 or 6 yards a pop.
17, 16, 15 seconds here. This may be the last play.
Might be 2nd and 5 here for Franklin. They take a little while snapping that one. They give it to Stevens again. He's not going anywhere. Donovan Montague's got a hold of him. Another tackle for a loss. How many names have we called on tackles for a loss and sacks? Oscar, it's incredible stuff. First half is done. We've still got some more football to play, but the Colonels are up big, 44-0. Subway halftime. Go ahead, Oscar.
We saw a high-energy pregame with Franklin bouncing all over the field. They're not bouncing now.
Franklin looks dejected. Altavista's doing some serious bouncing around. Subway halftime show should be fun. Don't turn away. We're back in about a minute here on 105.5 KD Country.
Chef's Drive-In is a proud supporter of Altavista High School athletics. And after a great game, stop by Chef's Drive-In at 1101 Main Street in Altavista for the best food around. The next time you're hungry, there's no other place to go. Give Chef's Drive-In a try today. When it comes to ham biscuits, hamburgers, hot dogs, or fries, Chef's Drive-In can't be beat. And if you want the best milkshakes in town, you've got to give Chef's a try. Chef's Drive-In, Main Street in Altavista, across from CVS.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
We're here because we
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30-plus years. A free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. That's 369-6621. David W. Shreve congratulates the Colonels football team, and good luck. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located on 7th Street in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Well, Oscar, the song playing right now as we come back is Sledgehammer. That's basically what the Colonels have been tonight, haven't they?
Boy, it's phenomenal that, again, we were talking during the break that I don't think anybody saw that coming. Coach Parker hasn't even taken his, he's still got his team on the field. They're gathered around between the 5-yard line and the goal line, and you got to wonder, what is his message to the team other than you try to win the half?
That's.
You're down 44-0 on the road. You've been dominated on the field, yardage, time of possession. You've done relatively well just because the Colonels have struck often and struck quickly. 4 or 5 play drives, 2 play drives. It's just been one lopsided game, and the Colonel defense has been stifling.
Yeah, the Colonel's defense, again, we mentioned that performance against Dan River was obviously incredible, what they did down there. I think this one probably, to me, one-ups that even maybe more than a little bit, just from the fact that they are just completely dominating Franklin up front. Broncos have managed to gain some yards, little passing play here, there, and then obviously I mentioned their success with running it to the fullback there from time to time, but the Altavista defense has just really been incredible. Numerous 3-and-outs, some big 4th down stops as well. Got the interception by Michi Malbeck. Doesn't get much better than what Mike Revis's defensive unit is doing right now. This is the Subway halftime show. It never gets any better than Subway. 2 great locations in Altavista. Main Street and then also in the Walmart on the Clarion Road. Nobody does it better than Robert. He's like the Altavista defense, isn't he, Oscar?
Yeah, he is. Boy, what a great job he's done. He continues to do in the community. I know he's had an initiative for the shoebox drive for Christmas and trying to help the underprivileged children and get those shoeboxes filled to get them out. Just continues to be a force in the community, and hey, they make a pretty mean sandwich.
That's a good point. Even if he's not a nice guy, you got to go there for the food, and of course. Christmas time will be here before you know it. A bunch of Christmas parties, that kind of stuff going on. You can get Robert to take care of your group. 369-2366 is the number there at Subway. Get Robert to cater your event, meeting, whatever. Just cater your life. It's always good to have Subway around. 369-2366. It is the Subway halftime show. We'll take a timeout and come back with statistics, thoughts, so much more here as halftime underway from Altavista High School. Colonels up big, 44-0. Timeout here on the Subway halftime show on 105.5 KD Country.
Go Colonels! The Rehab Associates of Central Virginia congratulate the Altavista Colonels on a great season. Rehab Associates of Central Virginia with 9 convenient locations, giving you direct access without the need for referral. Rehab Associates of Central Virginia cheering on the Altavista Colonels throughout the playoffs. Let's go Colonels! Rehab Associates of Central Virginia and Hurt.
When you need gas or hungry for the best fried chicken around, One Stop Mart is your one-stop shop. Congratulations, Altavista Colonels, on a great season and making it to the football playoffs. Remember, One Stop Mart has all your convenience items, gas, beverages, and deli specials with home-cooked food. fast, and hometown service. One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista. Go Colonels!
From small to tall, Highview Motors GMC has it all. Highview Motors GMC, an authorized GMC team with fantastic pricing. Highview Motors Collision Repair and Body, bringing back the shine with top-notch frame and unibody repair. PPG Paint, 24-hour towing, working hard to earn your business. Highview Motors GMC, Main Street, Altavista.
Small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors GMC.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
51 years of outstanding award-winning high school sports coverage. We wouldn't be award-winning without Eleanor Hoehne back at home base there, Oscar, doing a great job, as always. And, of course, a big shout-out to Nick Bailey, who's moved on to, I don't know if they're greener pasture. He just moved on to another pasture.
Yeah, it is.
Or did we put him out to pasture? How come a greener pasture is a good thing, but putting somebody out to pasture is a bad thing?
You know, but he lives on. He's still got commercials playing.
That's true.
It's always nice to tune in and hear Nick do a commercial or two, and he's in our thoughts. And now who knows? Our paths may cross again.
That's exactly right. Might bring him back for a guest run or something, or maybe even some color commentary one day when you or Bob is sick or vice versa, something like that. We'll get something going. Colonels are going to live on, barring some sort of, I don't even know if it'd be a minor miracle. I think it might be a major miracle for Franklin to come back in this one. Not to say that Broncos aren't going to play hard. And like you said, I think your goal's got to be to win the second half. But all indications are the Colonels are moving on to the state semifinals next week, Oscar.
Yeah, I don't see, again, barring some disaster, comet landing, I don't know. They do have a player named Jesus Padilla, so...
I shouldn't laugh at that, but
no, you shouldn't.
But I think I'm going to. Colonels lead 44-0 if you just joined us, by the way. That's the nature of our jokes there. And we've still got another half to play. So, boy, I guess if you're Franklin, maybe you could say, well, they scored 44 points in a half. Why can't we? But even that's tough to say at this point.
Well, it is, and especially when you've only amassed about 61 yards on the ground or total offense. And it started, with the kickoff from the Colonels.
Yeah.
It wasn't really an onside kick, but they were trying to keep it away from the deep backs, and it worked out. Colonels recovered that. 2 plays later, Juan hits Michi wide open for a 28-yard touchdown. Point after was good. Then the tables looked like they were going to get flipped. Looked like it was going to be a 3-and-out for Franklin. They punted the ball, and lo and behold, Michi Malbeck made a poor decision. Really, one of the few plays tonight that's gone against the Colonels.
Yeah.
So they recovered that, but then the Colonels shut them down. And lo and behold, the very first play from scrimmage, Claudel Moon bust off a 79-yard touchdown. Colonels lead 14-0 after that.
Yeah, first quarter was really fun and really wild. Like you said, the opening kickoff went against Franklin was slated to get the opening kickoff, and then it bounced Altavista's way, and the Colonels got it. It was really a bad omen for Franklin, let's put it that way, and a good omen for the Altavista Colonels, Oscar.
And then the Colonels get the ball back, 2 plays, one 35-yard jump by Juan. Colonels go up 21-0. So at the end of the first quarter, the Colonels lead 21-0. Didn't take them long to get going in the second quarter. Let's see exactly when they scored. With 9:58, or with 10:07, Juan has a 20-yard run. They go up 28-0. Then it was the safety from Padilla as he had his knee down during the punt. 3-and-out again from Franklin, and it's Dustin Brown. A touchdown. Boy, just incredible.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to the safety. I know you mentioned some other stuff after that, but that took it from 28 to 30-0. I think that was really the official ending of it for Franklin there, wasn't it, Oscar? That was the old nail, meat, coffin introduction.
Well, it is, because then lo and behold, they had to punt.
Yeah.
Or they actually you can either kick or punt from the 20-yard line, and the Colonels rapidly took that in. 3 plays, 46 seconds. a 54-yard drive, and again, the Colonels have just continued to do that. Against a very, very high-caliber team that, again, Franklin, Altavista, and Essex bounced that number 1 ranked position in the East, and actually in the state, back and forth all year long. And what we have seen during the playoffs is Altavista started the playoff at number 2, Franklin started the playoff at number 3 in the East, and now Altavista, due to their results against who they've played, they've actually progressed. They're number 1 in the state now in the power rankings. Franklin's dropped to number 5, but there's certainly not 44 points worth of separation and a half for these two teams.
Well, like we both said, I mean, this is really the perfect storm. I mean, any other night, this is probably a close ball game, although, I don't know, the way Altavista is dominating, I'm thinking maybe any other night the Colonels would probably be up. They wouldn't be up this big every night, but they might be up big, 20 or 30 to nothing. They're up 44-0 right now. Another timeout here on the Subway halftime show. About 5 minutes away from the kickoff of the second half. You'll hear it all when you come back on 105.5 KD Country.
Head into winter with a set of premium Michelin tires. Drop by your Michelin dealer between November 1st and December 2nd and get a $70 MasterCard reward card after submission when you buy any set of 4 new Michelin brand passenger or light truck tires.
See your Michelin dealer today. Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service on Main Street, Altavista.
Reward card eligibility is limited to tire purchases from participating dealers only. See redemption form for complete offer details. Offer expires 12/2/2013. Void where prohibited. Reward card issued by U.S. Bank pursuant to a license for MasterCard International Incorporated.
Man, it's cold in here. What's wrong with your heater?
Well, it used to work pretty good.
Back in the 90s, just call Select Air and get it fixed.
Oh, it'll probably cost a lot of money.
No, it won't, because Donnie will give you a fair price and get it done right the first time.
Maybe I'll call Select Air tomorrow.
No, you will call Select Air today, because it's freezing in here.
Select Air, 841-1580. 841-1580. Online at selectair.webs.com.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they're priced right, with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
This week's specials from your Apple Market's convenience stores. Get an 8-piece fried chicken box for only $6.99 from 4 to 8 p.m. every day and all day Sunday. Warm up with any size coffee or cappuccino for just 99 cents. Get a case of Coke at the special price of $6.99 now at Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. Check out the Apple Market Holiday Feast, including 10-pound boneless turkey or ham, 2 large size, a dozen rolls, and a whole pie. Pre-order at Main Street or Riverside Apple Markets. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show continues to roll on here as the Colonels continue to roll on. 44-0 is the lead. We're still got the second half to go, Oscar. And I don't know, you want to do stats now, or you want to do analysis now, or both?
No, let me run through some stats, and that'll probably take care of the analysis.
There you go.
Colonels with 227 yards on the ground, 78 through the air for a total of 305. Franklin 51 on the ground, 10 through the air for a total of 61. Boy, when you look at the individual stats for the Colonels, Juan Thornhill 7 carries, 110 yards, averaging 15.7 yards a carry. Destin Brown 24 yards on 3 carries, averaging 8. Clydell 93 yards on 3 carries. Of course, the big one was the 79-yard. He's averaging 31 a carry. So. Nobody else for the Colonels has covered the ball, have carried the ball. They didn't do the little Michi sweep. They haven't gotten the ball to Navy, but boy, they haven't had to.
They really haven't had to. You're right. Michi Malbeck does have the one receiving touchdown. Thornhill, I think, has got in the end zone twice on the ground. Destin twice on the ground, and then Clydell Moon rushing touchdown as well. So, obviously, the offense has been spread out, and the defense has been spread out, too. We've been calling a bunch of different names. Destin Brown, first one that comes to mind. Ashton Robinson had the big stack in there. It's a bunch of guys we could talk about defensively. Subway halftime show really wrapping up here and concluding. Here's a question for you, and I think a question you and I have talked about it a little bit briefly. What do you do with your starters in the second half? Because, obviously, I got to think about how I want to phrase this. There's some people with some negative vibes out there on the field for Franklin. Let's put it that way. Some guys with some bad intentions to maybe do some things that are probably not within the rules. Or are you worried about having one of your starters taken out by a quote-unquote cheap shot kind of thing?
Well, you always have to worry about that, and certainly there's no love lost between these two teams. However, this is a state quarterfinal game, and leading 44-0. I don't think you can pull the starters off yet.
Yeah.
I think that you've got to get them at least through the third quarter, certainly deep into the third quarter. Put a little bit more distance. You want to keep that running clock going. You don't want to let Franklin get any kind of momentum and think that they can get back in this ball game.
Now, I'm with you there. I think you got to send the starters back out there initially, and a lot of responsibility placed on the refs to try and keep it clean and make sure everybody is within the letter of the law. I mean, obviously you can't see every penalty out there, but you do have to try and keep the game safe and within the guidelines of the rules. And I think you're right. Even though you're up 44-0, I think you got to send your starters back out there, at least for a series or two, just because, it's a state quarterfinal, like you said. You don't want Franklin to build any more momentum. Subway halftime show going to wrap up. We'll take one more time out and then come back with the kickoff to start the third quarter. You're going to hear it all on 105.5 KD Country.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The following is brought to you by English Construction Company.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show wrapping up here. Colonels back out on the field doing their stretching and their warm-ups. Franklin doing a little bit there on the far sideline as well. Colonels lead 44-0. It's been all Colonels all the time. And a lot like a few other games they've had this year, Oscar. You know, we talked in the pregame show about the close games that they've had, but they've had some games like this where they've gotten on people early and they've had a running clock here in the second half. I dare say a team has had a running clock 3 times in the playoffs, though, like the Colonels are going to have.
And I dare say it's been quite some time since Franklin's had a running clock put on them.
That's another good point. Yeah, Franklin not used to being in this position at all. They got the one loss this year. That was to Brunswick, like you said, but I think that was 28-6 or something like that. So that was a close ball game, and that's only a 3-score game, and that probably certainly was not a 3-score game the entire time. So this is obviously a big change for them. Snowball effect, to say the least, for the Altavista Colonels, as it's just gone from bad to worse for Franklin. They had a sizable crowd that has made the trip down. I don't know if any of them have left early and started to head back yet or not. But and part of you, I guess, feels for Franklin a little bit, just because you don't think you're going to get swallowed up like this in the state quarterfinal.
No, you know, Kyle. Again, I'm gonna speak my mind.
Go ahead. That's what we pay the big bucks for.
I don't feel for them at all.
Okay.
This bunch, last
as a team, you don't feel for them.
Last year, they put it to the Colonels.
They did.
They put it to them hard hitting, nothing dirty, but a lot of barking back and forth. And they came out tonight trying to intimidate the Colonels.
Yeah.
And, boy, the Colonels did a good job keeping focused and came out and let their actions speak and just smacked them in the mouth.
No, you're right, and that's a good point to bring up. You know, Franklin, they have done a few dirty things tonight, but for the most part, their brand of football is just they're going to hit you hard. They're going to let you know about it. They're going to talk about it after the play. They're going to talk about it before the game. They're going to talk about it in between plays, and they're going to let you know that you've been hit, whether they're on offense or they're on defense. That's kind of what they're doing. Now, again, like I said, there has been one or two dirty things in there. Here comes the kickoff to start the second half for Franklin. They're going to kick it deep. Michi Malback will have a chance to return. He'll field it on the 10-yard line. Starts up the right hash mark, and he's got a hole. He's blown through the initial wave of defenders. Now he's got a few guys to make miss. Hesitation move, trying to throw the kicker out of his way, and he's brought down on the far side, the near sideline, right around the 30-yard line. Big-time return for Michi Malback. You talk about a way to start the second half, Oscar. It's about how they ended the first half.
Boy, weapon after weapon after weapon. The Colonels just keep throwing at you. You know, Michi's had a good game tonight. We hadn't seen a lot out of Navy Jones. He's made some nice plays defensively, but really on the offensive side we haven't seen much. But, boy, they've just got so many weapons.
He might be making his mark sooner rather than later. It seems like we have a knack at predicting some of that stuff sometimes, doesn't it, Oscar? Here comes Thornhill in his shotgun. Juan's going to run it himself, going off left tackle. Now he's back up the middle. Had a man draped around his waist, and he gets slung down just about 2 yards shy of the first down marker, so we'll call it an 8-yard pickup. It's a 2nd and 2 situation coming up for the Colonels here. Thornhill and everybody else looking over to the sideline to get the signal. 11:15. And again, clock should be running because of the big deficit, 44-0. Now, obviously, it'll stop on occasion, but for the most part, this second half is going to go by pretty quick unless Franklin can cut the lead to under 35. Here comes the second down play. They give it to Destin Brown. Brown's got the first down, shakes the defender. Now he's headed to the sideline. Good blocking out there on the perimeter. Destin cut down with an ankle tackle, but he gets it to the 6-yard line. Boy, Destin Brown, once he shrugged off that first defensive lineman, Oscar, he really had a bad intention to get in the end zone, and he almost did just get it inside that left pylon. Good touchdown-saving tackle by the safety for Franklin.
Well, and another great block by Navy Jones out on that edge.
Yep.
The Colonels' wide receivers and slot receivers have done an outstanding job all year long blocking downfield to allow these backs and to get deep.
They really have. Full house backfield from the far hash mark. They're going to give it to Michi Malback. Malback stiff arm. Now he sidesteps one guy, slung down for a 4-yard loss. Good penetration by Franklin. Michi didn't have anywhere to go, and Michi really did a nice job making that first guy miss, but he couldn't stop the ones after that. Blocking just wasn't there up front that time for the Colonels, and that's rare because that offensive line has really done a nice job tonight.
Yeah, and Michi doesn't quite have the power to run through like a Destin or a Claudel does. They'll usually run through that initial block, initial tackle. Michi just doesn't have that kind of strength.
Full house backfield again. Michi is spread out far, and Destin and Claudel are sort of close to each other there. Running play, they're going to give it to Destin Brown. Brown is stacked up right behind the center. Not much going for him there, and thrown for another loss. So the Colonels go under center. Usually that means they're going to pick up some big yards. This time they lose yards, and I have a feeling they'll be back in the shotgun here on this 3rd and goal play. 3rd and goal will come from the 11-yard line, Oscar.
And Juan Thornhill came over to Coach Shaughnessy, and he did not like that play at all. Don't know exactly what he disagreed with, but he didn't like it.
Well, and, you know, the quarterback can see some things out there on the field from his spot that the coach can't see. Looks like the Colonels are going to stay under center here. 2 tight ends. Offensive line with the tight splits. Full house backfield. Everybody's lined up in a T 5 yards behind Juan Thornhill. They'll run the bootleg. Juan looking to pass. He's got Darius over the middle, but it's picked off. Good defensive play by Franklin. This will be a touchback. It was intercepted in the end zone. Turnover by the Altavista Colonels. It'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. It'll be Broncos football after the first drive of the second half stalls out for the Altavista Colonels.
Yeah, and Juan might have rushed that throw a little bit. He spun away from the initial pressure and had a little bit more time than he thought he had. And Johnson threw that arm up. He was open for a minute, but there were 2 Altavista receivers in that area, so one defender there. Ball comes out to the 20.
Yeah, and I think Juan, sort of playing the percentages there. He said, we've got 2 and they've got 1. Let me just fire it up there. I don't know that he had a real precise target. And a good play by Franklin to stop the points for Altavista. It looked like the Colonels were going to get on the board again, as they've been doing all night. 44-0 lead. Franklin football, 20-yard line, middle of the field. 8:25 remaining here in the third quarter. Passing play to start the game for the Broncos. This ball is wobbly and it's picked off. Destin Brown just camped under it. Now he's looking to take it to the house. He's across the 10. 5, touchdown. Altavista Colonels. Well, it's that kind of a night, Oscar. They throw an interception. They turn around on the next play and get one of their own. Destin just camped under that thing like a punt and then took it about 25 yards to the end zone for 6.
Boy, the Colonels can absolutely do nothing wrong tonight. Here it is, interception by Thornhill. And the very next play, somebody hit the quarterback's arm. I couldn't tell who it was. Destin camped under it, scampered in from about 30 yards out.
You're right. You summed it up perfectly when you said the Colonels can do no wrong. When they do something wrong, they seem to make up for it on the very next play. Same thing happened on the punt. Well, they got the 4th and out. Then extra point is up. Man busted through the line there, and he bumped into the holder, Juan Thornhill. I don't think it was intentional. I think he was just a little out of control coming through there. But the flag does come out. Kick is good by Walker Allen. So this penalty is probably going to get assessed on the kickoff. It's 51-0 Colonel lead. 8:16 to play in the third quarter. Timeout here on 105.5 KD Country.
Try a variety of lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
51-0 is your Altavista Colonel lead as we're back here on 105.5 KD Country, or perhaps kdcountry.com if you're on the road somewhere listening, or you could even be around town listening and enjoying that great online streaming audio brought to you by Walmart in Altavista there on the Clarion Road. Save money, live better. Walmart. Colonels lead 51-0. Oscar. Third time Destin Brown's been in the end zone tonight. This time it's by the interception return variety.
Yeah, and it looks like they called that running into the kicker as opposed to roughing the kicker. 5-yard penalty instead of the 15-yard penalty. But again, just an indication. It wasn't that flagrant. It may be just an indication that the refs are saying, hey, guys, we're going to keep a tight rein on this.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I mean, you got to, especially with the margin this wide. And again, as we said it, Franklin is not a team that's used to being down this much, so they're probably not very happy about it. Nobody is going to be happy about being down this much, let's face it. They're probably a little extra steamed over there, just since Franklin really is used to beating people like this, not vice versa. Colonels have done this a few times this year, though. Like we said, walk around on to kick it off again. This one's short, and it's probably going to get fielded on about the 21-yard line. Return man snuck it by the initial wave, and he's still on his feet. Walker Allen's got to try and push him out of bounds, and he does. I don't want to say Allen made a touchdown-saving tackle because it looked like Michi had an angle on him, but Allen will get credit with the tackle as he shoves him out right around the 50-yard line. Let's see where it's finally spotted. It is going to be right at the 50, I think, Oscar.
And I'm a little bit puzzled tonight. Walker has, for the most part all year, been pounding the ball into the end zone on a consistent basis. Tonight he's been kicking it short, especially when you had the ball at the 45 after the penalty. A little bit confused about that, but again, hey, I'm not winning 51-0.
That's a good point. Toss play here. Franklin will pitch it out to the right side. Running back at Stevens. He got hit hard, still on his feet. Boy, good ball carrying there. Flag comes in again. Let's see what this is on. Somebody may have grabbed Stevens' face mask there as he was going down. We'll wait and see, though.
And for the first time tonight, somebody cleaned Destin Brown's clock on a block.
Yeah,
you can see, look at Destin. He's bent over. He got his bell wrong.
Destin it seems like he hasn't been blocked very much tonight by Franklin, but this time he did get blocked and blocked effectively. Tyler Kofer checking in for the Colonels. Casey McLeese also running in there. Ashton Robinson as well. So Colonels substituting on that defensive line quite liberally. It'll be enough for a first down after the penalty. And it looks like Franklin's next snap will come from the Altavista 40-yard line. 51-0, Colonels lead. 7:45 to play in the Apple Market third quarter.
I think 40 was the spot of the foul. They're going to mark 15 off from there, Kyle. Unless it's a 5-yard. No, it's a 15-yarder, so they're going to put that at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. They wanted to step it off and see where They wanted to spot the ball and see where he came down, or maybe spotted the foul, yeah, and then move it the extra 15. So, yep, this will put Franklin on the 25-yard line. We'll call it the 24. Power back, and then the fullback and the tailback. Another busted play as Pittman will roll out to his right. And he's chased out of bounds after about a 6-yard gain.
I think that was a naked bootleg.
Okay.
Again, that's just my opinion. Because
no, you may be right.
The whole flow came left. He immediately went right. Picked up about seven or eight on that play.
It's deceiving to me, I guess, because he doesn't really sell that bootleg. He doesn't stick the ball out and make really a play-action fake at all. Everybody else goes left and he goes right. But it is a solid pickup, 7 yards. Here comes the toss play. They're going to Stevens to the left. Stevens hit hard by Thornhill, keeps going. And then he gets hit hard by Destin Brown. Brown drops him there. Small gain, I think, when it's all finally spotted. They get it down to about the 16-yard line. They need to get to the 14-yard line for a fresh set of downs. This will be third. 6:47 to play. Colonels lead 51-0. Power back, and then the fullback and the tailback again. Pittman under center in the low crouch. Lost the handle momentarily. He'll have to keep it himself on the sneak. It was not a design sneak. He actually had to chase after the football because he lost the snap. But it's enough for a first down as he falls forward for about 2.5 yards.
And this is where you're going to see the Colonel pride come in. They do not want to let these guys score.
Yeah, they want to be able to say that they shut out Franklin for an entire football game. But Broncos knocking on the door. Moon got in the backfield initially, but he couldn't get to the ball carrier. Dante Poindexter going to make the tackle about 5 or 6 yards deep, though, and the ball carrier finally pushing it ahead. Maybe about a 7-yard pickup. New personnel coming in. 6-yard pickup. New personnel coming in for Franklin. Makes it 2nd and 4. The first down marker is on about the 3-yard line, so they can get a first down without getting in the end zone, but they're certainly knocking on the door here. 5:52 remaining in the third quarter. Colonels with the big lead, 51-0. Pittman giving his fullback some instruction. Now he's under center. Toss play again to the right. They're going to Stevens. Stevens carving his way up the alley. It looks like he's in the end zone. He is. Touchdown for the Franklin Broncos and Marcus Stevens. So Franklin on the board. 51-6 is your score now. Let's see if Franklin goes for 2. Not sure it matters at this point. Probably the only thing that matters is how strong is your kicking game.
And Padilla is very, very good kicker. First team all conference there for the second year in a row. Again, he was booming them through it from 45 yards earlier. But they're going for 2, trailing 51-6. You don't have any choice.
Yep. Here comes the snap. Pittman going to keep it himself, turns up behind right tackle, and he's in the end zone, virtually untouched. Good running play there by LaQuadric Pittman, the quarterback for Franklin. 51-8 is our score. Timeout on the field with 5:38 to go in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
You can buy paint from any old yahoo who knows nothing about paint in one of those big box stores. For quality paint from people who really know paint, it's Davis Paints from your complete home center, English's. Davis Paints, which has been known for quality since 1921, is not just sold anywhere. Visit the new paint room at English's, your authorized Davis Paint dealer.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Franklin gets on the board. They still trail big, 51-8. LaQuadric Pittman there on the 2-point conversion. It was Marcus Stevens on the 6-yard scoring run.
6 plays, 2 minutes and 22 seconds, covered 50 yards. Set up by the kick and return. And you got to look for an onside kick.
I would think so. I mean, I guess it depends on how Coach Darren Parker for Franklin wants to play it. But I would think with this amount of time left in the half, yeah, you probably go for the onside kick, hope you get it, score again, go for the onside kick again. You're going to have to do that routine for a good little while. But stranger things have happened. And like you said, for Coach Parker, maybe the message was let's just win this half, and they're certainly doing that so far, 8-0. No, they're not doing that so far. The Colonels scored, but they are winning 8-7. The Colonels did score. Short kick, Navy's going to field on the 20-yard line after a hop. He's going to avoid one defender. He's got some blockers. He's across the 30. Now he's across the 40 and the 50. Navy Jones is going to the house. Nobody is going to catch him. Touchdown on the kickoff return for Navy Jones. There are no flags on the field, Oscar Briggs. We hadn't seen Navy yet. We're seeing him now on the kickoff return, 80-yard return for the TD.
there are not many times this year I've been speechless, but I am absolutely speechless. We talked about we haven't seen Navy Jones really as a force on the offense. Lord, we just got it, special teams.
Yep. Sometimes you don't even have to run a play on offense. Navy Jones taking it to the house from 80 yards out. We hadn't seen him just yet. I was still confused about if Franklin was winning the half or not, but they're not winning the half anymore. Walker Allen on to try the extra point. 57-8 is the lead for the Colonels. They can get it back to a 50-point lead here if Walker can convert. Navy Jones on to hold. We'll see how aggressively Franklin wants to come after this one. They do get through there, and they got a piece of it. Walker pulled it, and then I think there was also a block in there, so it's no good. 57-8 will remain the score. 5:26 to play here in the third quarter. Another timeout. Franklin football when we come back on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Navy Jones, hadn't heard from him a whole lot on offense. We'll hear from him on special teams there as he takes that one to the house from 80 yards. Remember he opened up that Rustburg game with the long kickoff return for a touchdown, Oscar. That's one of the most exciting things in sports, isn't it? The kickoff return for TD.
Absolutely, and we've seen Navy Jones become more and more comfortable on the special teams as the year's gone on. Extremely talented athlete, ton of speed, very, very coachable kid. And, you know, he's an underclassman. You talk about all the juniors that are loaded on this team. Navy's just a sophomore.
Yeah, it's really incredible when you think about it. Dante Poindexter, the other big sophomore for the Altavista Colonels. But you're right. I mean, the youth movement in full effect here at Altavista. Navy, and he doesn't need a whole lot of room out there. I mean, you just give him one or two blocks, and Navy can take it to the house.
But boy, and you know that was the hands team out there, and they continued to block downfield, 30, 40 yards. They continued to keep the blocks engaged. Great job of coaching the special teams, and again, great job blocking downfield by the Colonels.
You're absolutely right. This is a very well-coached ball club. Walker's going to kick it deep, and the man fell down. He tried to return it there. Looks like number 10, Antonio Elliott, maybe, Oscar? Not sure. Hard to tell with the yellow numbers on the white jerseys. Ball was fielded at the 15-yard line, and the return man just slipped and fell down. So he's down right there on the spot. If this were the NFL, he could have got up and taken off. But not in high school, and that's where Franklin will start, near hash mark. From the 15-yard line, Broncos are going right to left here in the third quarter with 5:23 to play in the Apple Market third quarter. It is a 49-point Altavista lead.
And clock is continue to run.
Franklin under center. They've been under center all night. Pretty much the same formation. They seem to always go with the fullback and the tailback. Sometimes they use some wideouts. Pittman's going to keep it on the quarterback sweep. He's got a couple lead blockers. Cut down there by Destin Brown. Looks like also Dante Poindexter helping out on the stop as well. Big number 44. One of those sophomores that we mentioned. Good solid 6-yard gain there by LaQuadrick Pittman.
Looks like Pittman's just decided he's going to put this on his back and try to go. And the Colonel's got to be a little fatigued.
Yeah, I would think so. Altavista, the way they've been racing up and down the field all night, whether it's been on offense or defense, kind of wear you down some. Pittman under center again. He's going to keep it himself, and I think you're right. He's going to try and turn it into a one-man show, and he's gone. Navy Jones will have to try and run him down. Gets a hand on him, but Pittman avoids him. Pittman's across the 50, across the 40. Now he will get brought down by Nelson Dews at the 35-yard line. Big pickup, though, by LaQuadrick Pittman. Back-to-back rushing plays for the junior quarterback from Franklin. And really, it's been the most success they've had on offense all night, Mr. Briggs.
Yeah, and you know, it's important to note, we talked about who was going to play and who's not. Nelson Dews has replaced Juan Thornhill at the safety position.
That seems to be really the only guy I see that's a starter on defense that's not in there. Of course, we talk about that D-line. Those guys rotate and sub in and out all the time, so that's a little bit hard to get a read on. They're going to give it on the handoff. This looks like Latrell Lane, number 3, went right tackle, then he cut it back. Solid pickup. Gets it all the way down to the 25-yard line. Close to the first down mark. He really fell down right on it.
Clock continues to run. 3:40 left here in the third quarter. Colonels lead 57-8.
Colonels have scored twice in this third quarter, Oscar, but neither one of them on offense. Destin Brown returned the interception for a touchdown. Then Navy Jones returned the kick for a touchdown. Pittman under center again. Looks over that defense, gets in the low crouch, toss play. They're going to give it to Lane again. Lane's got the lead fullback. He races out of one tackle, races out of another. Lane is in the end zone. Touchdown, Franklin Broncos. Franklin refusing to go quietly into the good night. Latrell Lane, a senior, scoring the touchdown from 25 yards out. And he makes it 57-14. I would assume Franklin's going to go for two again. They did on their last touchdown. Colonels a little slow to get lined back up on defense. Of course, Franklin not exactly in a hurry to get lined up on offense. One delay game penalty on Franklin so far here tonight. They'll huddle up about 5 yards deep before this two-point conversion.
And if you coach Sharness, do you continue to just exchange touchdowns, straight touchdowns, Kyle? Or,
Well, I think you'd like to see your defense get a stop. Here comes the two-point conversion play. Pittman tripped up. He was going to try and do the old quarterback sweep, the keeper again, and he gets knocked down. Two-point conversion, no good, so it's 57-14. We'll talk about that question and a few more when we get back here. 3:15 to go in the third quarter. Colonels football when we come back on 105.5 KD Country.
105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg, your home for award-winning high school football.
Chef's Drive-In is a proud supporter of Altavista High School athletics. And after a great game, stop by Chef's Drive-In at 1101 Main Street in Altavista for the best food around. The next time you're hungry, there's no other place to go. Give Chef's Drive-In a try today. When it comes to ham biscuits, hamburgers, hot dogs, or fries, Chef's Drive-In can't be beat. And if you want the best milkshakes in town, you've got to give Chef's a try. Chef's Drive-In, Main Street in Altavista across from CVS. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Franklin in the end zone for the second time tonight. They'll kick off again. Of course, the last time they booted it away, Navy Jones took it to the house for a touchdown. You and I both thought they might go with the onside kick last time. I wonder if they're going to go with it here. You may go with it just to save yourself the chance at a long return, right? I mean, at least the onside kick, Altavista's probably just got a fall on it.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if you've seen the last of Juan Thornhill on offense.
Yep, here comes the onside kick. Big bounce up high. Franklin's got a chance at it. Clydell Moon scooped it up, I believe, before it went out of bounds. No, I think the ball did go out of bounds. Moon never really got his hands on it. But this will be Altavista football, either at the 35 or wherever it went out before that. Looks like Dean Hubbard on the far sidelines got the spot there for the Altavista Colonels, doesn't it?
Make them re-kick. It was offsides.
Penalty on Franklin, offside going after the onside kick. I would think they'd try it again.
And that onside kick was certainly better than the one I saw last night during the pro game.
Yeah, the Sebastian Janikowski onside kick attempt. I saw that one too. That was pretty.
It wasn't that one. It was it was the Sweeson from the Pittsburgh. That was awful. But I digress. 3:15 here. Colonels lead 57-14. You got to wonder again if Thornhill. We've seen the last of Thornhill at quarterback, and we may see Donovan Montague come in and play quarterback now.
Here comes another kick attempt, and it is an onside kick again. This one in the air. Clydell Moon calls for the fair catch, and he catches it successfully. Little extracurricular stuff. Juan Thornhill was in on the special teams play, and I think he got dropped on a hit right there as Moon was grabbing the high onside kick.
And he did fair catch.
Yep.
And, he was hit.
Yeah, it was Thornhill that got hit. Moon made the fair catch successfully. This ball will get spotted on the 40-yard line. That's where the Colonels will take over.
And boy, Juan's not happy.
No, Juan is not happy. Yeah, he wanted I think he wanted to stay in there before that, and now after he got hit there on the special teams play, he really wants to stay in. Donovan Montague will come in at the quarterback spot though. Our score is 57-14. Clock winding here with the big margin. 2:50 to play in the Apple Market third quarter. Montague in at quarterback. He's got Clydell Moon right beside him. And remember, if you haven't heard the Colonels or seen the Colonels, Donovan Montague is not a bad quarterback at all. He's not your traditional backup. Moon thrown down No gain there. He might have got it back to the line of scrimmage. Franklin defense really swarmed on him. Boy, it does seem like the Colonels have lost some momentum. Obviously, it's going to be hard to keep the momentum. I mean, when you've scored so many points.
Well, it is, and the thing is that you're starting to see, you're seeing Nelson Dews in, and you're seeing Brothers Johnson out wide now. I don't see Michie in the game now. Michie's not in the game. He's down with Coach Lee.
Donovan's going to keep this one, and he's got a big gain across the 50, now across the 45. Hit hard, spun around, dropped finally on the 40. Big pickup, 20-yard gain for Donovan Montague.
Late hit. I was giving the back judge a hard time about his arm. He just before the game about how far he could throw the flag. He just chunked it from about 20 yards downfield. Late hit, helmet to helmet. Montague was on the ground. Not unexpected to see this in this game.
Yeah, this will be 15 yards added on. Donovan made it all the way to the Franklin 40.
Gain of 20 on that. Nice run by Donovan.
It really was. Great blocking on the left side there by, I think, Teagarden and Ashton Robinson. That is Teagarden and Ashton Robinson on that left side. So this will spot the football now on the 25-yard line. Colonel's knocking on the door again. Like I mentioned, Donovan Montague is not your everyday backup quarterback. He's pretty doggone good. We've already seen him make some incredible plays on defense and blocking. He's played some tight end in this football game on offense. He's got Moon right behind him in the pistol. They'll pull a lineman. They give it to Moon. Moon's going to try and get in behind the lineman, but not much there. Drop for about a 1-yard loss. Again, the Franklin defense swarming. Bunch of guys in on the stop. Antonio Elliott, one of them.
Antonio Elliott is pumped.
He's excited to be here.
Boy, he is excited to be here.
41 seconds remaining here in the Apple Market third quarter. 57-14. Colonels might not have to run another play. Is now, I don't know when the referee started the play clock or not. They're probably going to have to run one more play to make sure they don't get a delay game. Walker Allen in now on offense at one of those wide receiver spot. Here's the unbalanced formation for the Altavista Colonels. Montague looking over the defense. Moon to his left. It looks like Donnie's going to run that way. Now he cuts it back. Slip, fell down. Flag comes out. Referees will stop the clock with the flag. And we mentioned it. You know, a lot of these officials with the running clock just let it run all the time. These officials are stopping it. Plays like that. It's going to be an illegal procedure on the Altavista Colonels. Franklin's going to accept the penalty. I thought they might decline that one and make it about 3rd and 13. Instead, it'll make it 2nd and 15. Now the clock starts up again. Colonels don't have to run a play this half if they don't want to. And Coach Sharness puts up the stop sign and says, let's go to the fourth quarter. And that's where we will go as well. Easy for me to say, Oscar. It's been a tongue twister kind of a night. Colonels up 57-14. One more quarter to play when we come back on 105.5 KD Country.
From small to tall, Highview Motors GMC has it all. Highview Motors GMC, an authorized GMC team with fantastic pricing. Highview Motors collision repair and body bringing back the shine with top-notch frame and unibody repair. PPG paint, 24-hour towing. Working hard to earn your business. Highview Motors GMC, Main Street, Altavista.
Small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors GMC.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
After 3 quarters of play, it's been all Colonels. Broncos did some damage there in the third quarter, Oscar, though. Still 57-14, Altavista Colonel lead. Still speechless?
Yeah, I really am. I anticipated a tight game, a Rustburg type, a Galax type game. I'm just amazed that the Colonels have been able to come out and dominate this. They punched Franklin in the mouth and have dominated the game.
Yeah, really have. It was 44-0 at halftime, and I'm with you. I expected a game where hey, maybe Altavista pulls away late kind of thing, but certainly doesn't race out to the lead like they did. 21-0, then 28-0, then the safety made it 30-0, and well, now it's 57-14. Again, the Broncos have fought hard there in the third quarters. They got in the end zone a couple times. Donovan Montague in at quarterback, 2nd and 15 on the way for the Altavista Colonels from the Franklin 30-yard line. Montague going to keep it himself. Not a whole lot of running room there as a bunch of Bronco defenders swarm on him. Donovan might have got about a yard, but not much else, and this will make it 3rd and 14 or 15.
And Donovan just doesn't have the presence that Juan does, and he's not quite as elusive as Juan is. But they are going to give him gain of 1 on that.
Yeah, Moon's going to slide out of the game. Destin Brown will be in the backfield now with Donovan Montague. Receivers look like Ty Woodruff, Walker Allen. The far sideline, I think I see a Johnson brother over there. Not sure. We'll find out in 1 second. Option play to the left. Montague pitches Destin Brown. Brown's going to have to try and make it to the sideline. He does. Turns the corner all the way down to the 20 before he's punched out of bounds. And he's going to be about a full 5 yards short, it looks like, depending on the spot. Maybe 6 yards as they spotted on the 21-yard line. 10:30 to play in the football game in the Apple Market fourth quarter.
It brings up his 4th and about 7. We'll call it a long 6, and Colonels obviously will go for it here.
Yeah, only thing you could do is maybe try a long Walker Allen field goal. I think with the cold weather, Allen's having a hard time getting his usual distance, certainly on the kickoffs. It's hard to compress that football when it gets really cold. Colonels will go for it here in 4th and 7. They're going to hand it off to Destin Brown. Brown's got a nice hole. Slipped, fell down, stretched it across the 15. That should be enough for a first down unless they give him a bad spot. Thornhill running out on the field. Maybe Juan thinks they're short and he's going back out on defense. Who knows? You're right. He did.
They're not even measuring it. He got a bad spot. He did stretch that ball across the 15-yard line. They're marking it about a football short of the 15.
Yeah, Destin was slipping and falling down, but I'm with you. I thought he stretched it out across the 15. They marked it well short of the 15, about a yard short of it. That's where the Colonels needed to get to. So Franklin will take over after the turnover on downs. Looks like pretty much the starting defensive lineup in there right now, especially when you see Juan Thornhill back out there again. He was not out there the last series when Franklin was on defense. Nelson Dews was at safety. Juan back in there at safety. Franklin under center, ready to go. Pittman will keep it himself. He is hit hard by Juan Thornhill, dragged down on the ankle tackle by number 11. Solid pickup, though. Call it a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, Juan's wanting to double out a little punishment there. Got to be careful. Got to be careful.
You do. You always have to be careful, not only in football but in life. But I see your point. Thornhill really playing amped up right now, looking to make a big play. And hard snap count there by Franklin. Altavista looked like they came off, and Pittman, the quarterback, wondering where was the penalty, because it did look like about 3 Colonels jumped over the line of scrimmage. Ball will get snapped on second down, though. They gave it to Stevens. Stevens bouncing around, and he is hit hard by Juan Thornhill. Michi Malback helping out at the end of the tackle as well. Short of the first down. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 3, maybe 3rd and 2, more accurately. 57-14, Colonels lead. Under 8.5 minutes to go here in the football game.
I'm having a problem with my stats, Kyle. So
that happens from time to time. Pittman going to get under center again. Here comes the 3rd down snap. He'll turn. He wants to keep it himself on the quarterback sweep. Thornhill looking to hunt him down, and he hits him hard. It doesn't go down on the first one, but Navy Jones will run him out of bounds. Good play by Juan to get there and string him out, and then Navy Jones pushes him out short of the first down. Let's see if the Broncos want to go for it. Boy, they actually give Pittman a small gain on the play. I thought, if anything, it was a small loss on the play. Now they adjust the stick and move it back a little bit.
Caught a loss of 1, maybe?
Yep. 4th and 2. Looks like Franklin's offense all staying out there. Everybody checking the wristband. The quarterback is LaQuadric Pittman, and really in the second half, he's been doing the bulk of the carrying. Under center again, checks his backs behind him. He'll give it to the fullback. First guy through. Not much there. I think Dante Poindexter filled that hole. Ashton Robinson as well.
They're going to give him the spot.
Colonel's offense was about to run out there. They had to get called back. Let's see where the football is. Big mass of bodies around. Hard to tell.
Once again, rather than mark the ball
and bring the chains
where the
out,
tackle was made, the official picked up the ball, ran over towards the side. He ran 25, 30 yards over.
Yeah. That was funny. He runs all the way past the numbers and then sets it down about 5 yards from the chain. If you're going to run all the way over there, just take it over there to the chain so you don't have to move it.
Or you could just leave the ball where it was tackled.
Right, exactly.
Make the measurement there.
First down yardage is gained by the Franklin Broncos, so they'll get a fresh set of downs to work with here. 7:21 to play in the Apple Market fourth quarter. Apple Market's a proud sponsor of the Altavista Colonels and high school sports fans everywhere. Stop by an Altavista area apple market tonight, if you will. Franklin's offense getting set again. Colonel's defense, again, a lot of guys stacked up. Really just two linebackers with Destin Brown and Demetrius Johnson, and even they're crowding that football a little bit. Thornhill walking up about 7 yards deep. Pittman goes under center. Running play, they're going to give it to Stevens. Stevens looking to go off tackle. Solid blocking, but then he's cut down by, guess who? Juan Thornhill in on the stop. And it looks like some substitutes will come in now. Dews will come in for Thornhill. Destin Brown checking out as well. Casey McLeese comes out. Ashton Robinson comes out. They get a nice round of applause, deservedly so. 2nd and 6 on the way for Franklin. Passing play for the Broncos. Looking deep. Caught. Man falls down on the catch. Didn't really have his balance. Good job to hold on to. And it looks like number 28, 18.
Oh, my goodness. They're giving him a spot at the 35. That's clearly 3 yards downfield from where the reception was made.
It looked like number 28, Malcolm Walker, on the catch. Again, stumbling around there. He was really almost on the ground when he caught it. And they do give him a pretty favorable spot. Makes it 3rd and 1, really less than 1 probably. Franklin breaking their small huddle. 5:57 to go here in the contest. Colonels with the big lead, 57-14. Franklin driving here. Passing play again for the Broncos. Pittman gets set, heaves it up. Ball is incomplete. Had a receiver downfield. And it was number 24. No. Excuse me. It was number 85, Dustin Miller, in coverage for the Altavista Colonels. And this will make it 4th and 1 for Franklin. They're going to go for it. They're on their own 35-yard line. Need to get to about the 36. They line up quickly. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the football game. Colonel's still up big, 57-14. Franklin getting some personnel in and off the field really quickly here. Pittman's going to go on the QB sneak. Looks like he's got enough. Big rugby scrum as he pushes it ahead. Full 5-yard gain, so more than enough for the first down for Pittman.
Yeah, it was more like a rugby scrum.
Yeah.
And let's give it to Pittman. Pittman's continued to compete.
He's a good hard runner. Again, he's not the best passer in the world, but he certainly does his job leading the offense, and he's a pretty formidable ball carrier himself. First down. This one will be snapped from the 40-yard line. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remain in the football game. Altavista is going to move on. They'll be in the state semifinals next week against an opponent to be determined, but we'll get you some scores here as the game goes on. Pass going over the middle, falls incomplete. Nelson Dews in coverage, and Pittman just out through everybody. Good job by Dews being back there to provide some pressure on the receiver.
Walker
2nd and 10.
in the area as well.
Yeah, Allen was there. Allen's got the long arms and the long legs, so he can cover some ground in a hurry.
And he's probably got a good 20-inch vertical.
Well, it's probably about 10 more than you, so give the guy a break here. Pittman under center again, blocking back to the left, 2 tight ends. Looks over the defense, wants to pass again. He'll throw it out to the right. He's got a man there, and it's caught. Looks like might be Marcus Stevens on the reception. It's about a 15, 16-yard pickup there as he is slung down. No, it's actually Corey Porter there on the catch and run. First down pickup for Franklin. Best drive of the night for them, Oscar. Of course, it's clearly a little bit too late.
Well, it is, and you know, the stats are going to come out looking a little bit different.
Yeah.
The Colonels have clearly dominated, but when you get into a running clock situation, you've had an interception return, you've had a kickoff return, you know, the stats are going to be a little bit padded for Franklin, who's had to grind and drive the ball down the field.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, the stats really going to be misleading, particularly in the second half here in this one. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Franklin wants to pass again. Pittman looking down left sideline. Walker Allen's in the area. He broke it up. Almost had the interception, but it does go incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd and 10. Colonels continue to substitute some guys in there. Trayvon Clark coming in. Looked like Coleman Teagarden coming in the game. And also Wayne Short. It may have actually been Matt Lane coming in the game for the Colonels. 2:43 to play in the football game. 2nd and 10 on the way for Franklin. They've resorted to the pass about the last 4 or 5 plays in a row. 2 wideouts on each side, maybe passing again. They are. Pittman drops back. Good pocket to throw from. Over the middle. Dews is there. Pass is overthrown for everybody. Dews was in coverage along with Dustin Miller. He was looking for Darian Duck on the pass, and it'll go incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
And, you know, it's not too early now. We can start talking about next week.
Yes, we can.
Looks like the Colonels are going to have to hit the road.
Yeah, if Essex would have lost, then they would have... Colonels might have had a chance at playing at home. Essex up 16-0 against Central Lunenburg at halftime. We'll keep an eye on that. Pump fake here by Pittman. He's going to throw down left sideline again. Walker Allen is there. This time he's got the interception. Picked off. Another interception for the fantastic Colonel secondary. 1:47 to play in the game. And it looks like all Altavista is going to have to do is take 3 knees there. And that will do it for Franklin's season. Altavista gets the revenge, and they're going to get to move on and play in the state semifinal next week. Stick around for the Subway postgame shows. We'll talk about that. Big score in that Heritage game, too, Oscar. They were trailing as time was winding down, but maybe a little foreshadowing there from me. Who knows? That's why you got to wait around for the Subway postgame show. 1:37 to play in the football game. Colonel's just going to have to take 1 or 2 knees, especially depending on how tightly the officials want to control that play clock.
Of course, you got to be careful that, you know, tempers stay calm here.
Yeah, Franklin's stacking everybody up. One guy goes over the top. Donovan Montague takes the knee. He was helped to the ground there by the one Franklin defender that went over the top there. 57-14 is our score. Colonels will go on to win this one. Probably about 45 or maybe even 40 seconds when they finally take this last knee, and then that'll be enough, and then hopefully nothing crazy happens at the 50-yard line when these two teams shake hands, Oscar.
Yeah, you know, if you're Franklin at this point, all you do is take your hat off and say, boy, you were the better team tonight.
Yep.
Again, the Colonels dominated.
Yeah, that really is about the only thing you can say. Essex did go on to win that game, and they stretched out the margin, Oscar, 31-6. They won over Central Lunenburg. Another knee comes out for Donovan Montague. 32 seconds now. Let's see if they're going to make the Colonels snap it again. He has not started the play clock yet, so Altavista is not going to have to snap this one again. That'll be enough, and the Colonels' offense that was on the field will run over to the sideline. We'll take a timeout. We'll bring it back with the Subway postgame show. With the Subway postgame show. Colonels win big, 57-14. You heard it all on 105.5 KD Country.
Chef's Drive-In is a proud supporter of Altavista High School athletics. And after a great game, stop by Chef's Drive-In at 1101 Main Street in Altavista for the best food around. The next time you're hungry, there's no other place to go. Give Chef's Drive-In a try today. When it comes to ham biscuits, hamburgers, hot dogs, or fries, Chef's Drive-In can't be beat. And if you want the best milkshakes in town, you've got to give Chef's a try. Chef's Drive-In, Main Street in Altavista, across from CVS.
When you need gas or hungry for the best fried chicken around, One Stop Mart is your one-stop shop. Congratulations, Altavista Colonels, on a great season and making it to the football playoffs. Remember, One Stop Mart has all your convenience items, gas, beverages, and deli specials with home-cooked food. Fast and hometown service. One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista. Go Colonels!
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30-plus years. A free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. That's 369-6621. David W. Shreve congratulates the Colonels football team, and good luck. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located on 7th Street in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels win. Colonels win big, 57-14 in a state quarterfinal matchup. Oscar, Colonels are moving on one step further. State semifinals next week. That'll be on a Saturday. That'll be at a location to be determined. But, boy, we got a lot to talk about with this one. We don't have a lot of time to do it either.
No, it's, what a great victory for the Colonels. It was, on paper, again, this thing was tight. All indications were a lot of people had Franklin favored to win. But the Colonels took all doubt away quickly. scoring those 2 first touchdowns, dominated play on both sides of the ball. As complete a victory as we've seen Colonels play all year against probably certainly one of the best teams we've seen all year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, make no mistake about it. The score really doesn't reveal how good Franklin is as a football team. I mean, they are a very, very quality football team. They're a little bit like Dan River in the fact that they don't throw the ball very well. So when Altavista got up big, that put Franklin behind the 8 ball, and it was extremely tough. But that's what you got to do if you're Altavista. I mean, they just execute the game plan perfectly.
And even not throwing the ball well, the Colonels, what they did was they said, you're going to have to beat us through the air, because they stacked all 11 players within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and said, you're not going to beat us on the ground. And let's face it, the Colonels' defense has been strong all year. This team's averaging 42 points a game, and they scored 14 tonight against the second string.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. I mean, Franklin, give him some credit for fighting hard there in the third quarter, but the Altavista defense was stifling in a big way. Man, I don't even know where to start, Oscar. I guess you just want to get right into the stats, and we'll try and recap all the scoring. There was plenty of it to go around for the Colonels.
Boy, and again, the Colonels had 305 yards at half. They only ended up with 359, 281 on the ground, 78 through the air for a total of 359. Franklin ended up they only had 51 on the ground, ended up with 192 for the game, 34 through the air for a total of 226. Total domination. 45 yards worth of penalties for Altavista. 60 for the Colonels. 2 turnovers for Altavista. 3 for Franklin. Boy.
Playing next Saturday.
Impressive.
Yeah, it really was impressive. We'll take another time out here on the Subway post-game show and come back with some more analysis, some scores, all that good stuff. You're hearing it all on 105.5 KD Country.
Go Colonels! The Rehab Associates of Central Virginia congratulate the Altavista Colonels on a great season. Rehab Associates of Central Virginia with 9 convenient locations, giving you direct access without the need for referral. Rehab Associates of Central Virginia cheering on the Altavista Colonels throughout the playoffs. Let's go Colonels! Rehab Associates of Central Virginia and Hurt.
Head into winter with a set of premium Michelin tires. Drop by your Michelin dealer between November 1st and December 2nd and get a $70 MasterCard reward card after submission when you buy any set of 4 new Michelin brand passenger or light truck tires.
See your Michelin dealer today. Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service on Main Street, Altavista.
Reward card eligibility is limited to tire purchases from participating dealers only. See redemption form for complete offer details. Offer expires 12/2/2013. Void where prohibited. Reward card issued by U.S. Bank pursuant to a license for MasterCard International Incorporated.
Man, it's cold in here. What's wrong with your heater?
Well, it used to work pretty good.
Back in the 90s, just call Select Air and get it fixed.
Oh, it'll probably cost a lot of money.
No, it won't, because Donnie will give you a fair price and get it done right the first time.
Maybe I'll call Select Air tomorrow.
No, you will call Select Air today, because it's freezing in here.
Select Air, 841-1580. 841-1580. Online at selectair.webs.com. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
57-14, Colonels get the victory over the Franklin Broncos, the team that knocked them out last year, Oscar. So there's the revenge factor there as well. And now let's talk about some of those other scores. You know, Heritage, our neighbors to the north, was really the only local team left playing. They were down 7-6 with 7 minutes left. They recover a fumble on their own 7. So Hidden Valley, the team they were playing, was knocking on the door, threatening to score again. Heritage recovers the fumble. They go down. They drive. They win the game 12-6. So the Pioneers moving on to the state semifinals as well. And our old friend Brad Bradley, he's pretty good in those playoff games.
He's pretty good just period.
Exactly.
He's had success everywhere he's been, and you don't get any more competitive than Brad.
You're exactly right. Fort Chiswell, the other game that we need to look at in Division I. Fort Chiswell up big. They're the number 2 seed. Hayside plays J.I. Burton tomorrow. Hayside is the number 1 seed. If Hayside wins, Altavista will be going there. If Hayside loses, then Altavista will be going to Fort Chiswell. So that's the That's the conundrum there. Fort Chiswell, really not far from Galax where we were at before. Hayside, a little further on down the road. You got to leave early to get to Hayside. We may need to leave like Tuesday for that
268 miles. Not that I've looked around.
Right. All right. Well, that's fun. We got you the scores there. And, again, congratulations to Heritage for their win. Essex won, but Altavista would not see Essex until the state finals. So let's take one more final time out on the Subway pregame show. We'll bring it all back with some final thoughts, players of the game, all that good stuff. Colonels win big, 57-14 on 105.5 KD Country.
Ooh. This week's specials from your Apple Market's convenience stores. Get an 8-piece fried chicken box for only $6.99 from 4 to 8 p.m. every day and all day Sunday. Warm up with any size coffee or cappuccino for just 99 cents. Get a case of Coke at the special price of $6.99 now at Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. Check out the Apple Market Holiday Feast, including 10-pound boneless turkey or ham, 2 large sides, a dozen rolls, and a whole pie. Pre-order at Main Street or Riverside Apple Market.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they're priced right, with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels. Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today, El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
57-14 as the Subway post-game show returns. Yeah, I got to be honest and apologize. I probably shouldn't apologize for it, but I screw up the post-game, the pre-game, and halftime show all the time for Subway. You can't screw up Subway, though.
No,
whether it's a pre-game, post-game, if you go, you're a winner.
At either location, either Main Street
That's
or
right.
Walmart Center, you can't mess that up.
That's right. Player of the game time now for both ball clubs. You know, I think it's going to be tough for both teams because you got so many guys that did a bunch of things. I mean, for the Colonels, gosh, on defense alone, I could name about 15 guys. But anyway, I'll start with the Broncos. I got to go with LaQuadrick Pittman. I know he threw some interceptions there, but yeah, he was the guy that was able to at least get something going for him there in the third quarter. And I thought he played hard. He's a good quarterback, just a junior too. So make no mistake, I wouldn't be shocked to see Franklin again next year.
No, and I can't. I have to concur. You know, Pittman was clearly head and shoulders above the rest. He continued to compete, got a bulk of the carries, was able to move the ball, was forced to throw the ball more than he's comfortable in.
Yeah.
I agree. That's who it is for me.
Yeah, pretty doggone tough for the Altavista Colonels. Just like I said, all the way around, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, it's just hard to pick one guy. I really liked what Destin Brown did, though. He got 3 touchdowns. One of them was an interception return. The other 2 were rushing. I think about the rushing touchdowns that Juan Thornhill scored. A lot of those were sprung by Destin Brown blocks, and Destin was making some big stops on defense. Again, big props to everybody else. You know, Ashton Robinson, Juan Thornhill himself, Navy Jones had the kickoff return. And I think the guy you're getting ready to name, I would concur with you, too. But the Colonels team, just in general, was at lights out.
Boy, they did. And you know, I was on the fence between Destin, Juan, or the guy that I'm going to go with. And, I think about defensively wise, Destin was a force tonight.
Yeah.
Even in the first half when he didn't get a lot of carries, he had 3, but boy, he's dominant defensively. I'm going to go with Clydell Moon, who was really, really pumped up before the game. Kept those emotions in check once the game got started. We called his name on defense a lot. He had the huge 79-yard run that I think was a second touchdown. I got to go with Clydell.
I like it, and the other thing that I think about is, Clydell was on the team at the start of the year last year, wasn't on the team to finish the year, so maybe you could say, oh, well, he didn't have to go down to Franklin and take that loss last year. Now, he wanted this one just as bad as everybody else did tonight, so definitely a good pick there, taking Clydell. Our MVPs, player of the games, as always, Eleanor Hoehne back at the station made it sound good, made it easy for us. And that's not easy to do, make us sound good, let's be honest. And then our sponsors. We really couldn't do it without people like David W. Shreve. When life happens, turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced and licensed attorney. Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store. Apple Market, serving you from 3 great locations, Gateway, Main Street, and Riverside. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels. Select Air. Give Donnie a call today, 841-1580, 841-1580. First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Feller's Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, the happiest place in town. English is your complete home center, headquarters for Davis Paints. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving family since 1905. Chef's Drive-In, keeping you alive with their hometown pride and service. Rehab Associates, your choice for expert physical therapy from 9 different locations. The One Stop Mart, your one stop for gas, food, and beverages. And Highview Motors, from small to tall, Highview has it all. That'll do it for us and wrap it up here from English Stadium. Colonels win big in the state semifinal, 57-14. They defeat Franklin. We'll talk to you on the road next week, folks. We'll either be in Hayside or in Fort Chiswell, but it'll be a Saturday game, so make sure you listen out to 105.5 for the time when the Subway pregame show will start, and make sure you listen to 105.5 all the time, and we'll get you everything you need to know about Colonel sports and everything else for that matter. Till next Saturday, have a great one, everybody. Colonels win big, 57-14.
Happy holidays from Real Country, 105.5 KD Country, worldwide at kdcountry.com.